washed through the area yesterday, so a doubleheader today, and that means more decisions for the Mets brain trust. Roster moves, changes in the pitching rotation, but David Wright's been red hot to start the season. Mets have enjoyed seeing their old buddy Angel Pagan. He's had a good series so far. Terry Collins hoping for a couple of wins today before the Giants and Tim Lincecum leave town. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the San Francisco Giants in the first game of a doubleheader. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you today as the Mets play a doubleheader against the Giants, necessitated by yesterday's rainout. Mets and Giants have split the first two games of this four-game series, and today the Mets face the two-time Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum. It's been anything but a Cy Young start for Lincecum so far this year.
Well, he's 0-2 in his first three starts. He's got an ERA over 10.5, and 13 2/3 innings. He's given up 16 runs, 9 of those in the first inning. His last outing, he gave up 4 runs in the first inning in a loss in Philadelphia, but he settled down his last 5 innings, only gave up 1 run, and they say he went to his slider, predominantly to his slider, found his command, maybe found his mechanics, and they're hopeful he's going to turn it around tonight.
First time in Lincecum's career he's ever given up 5 or more in 3 straight starts. Now, Dylan G was supposed to pitch yesterday. He'll pitch in Game 2 today. Johan Santana was supposed to pitch tonight. He's been pushed back to tomorrow. And so the Mets plug in 41-year-old Miguel Batista to make the start today.
Well, Batista made the ball club this year because of the uncertainty of Santana. They didn't know the Mets whether Santana could go for the duration. He's a spot starter, reliever. Well, the rainout gives him his first start of the year. He's off to a sluggish start in his first 6 relief appearances. He's giving up an alarming 6 walks in those 6 appearances. This is his first start against the Giants. He's lifetime 5-8 in 18 starts.
And with Batista limited somewhat in terms of a pitch count, the Mets have added an extra pitcher, brought up right-hander Jeremy Hefner from Buffalo. They put Ronnie Cedeno, an infielder, on the disabled list with a strained intercostal muscle, so the Mets will have just a 4-man bench, at least for the first game of the doubleheader today. Mets and Giants, first of 2, all the action on SNY. Brought to you by Citi, proud sponsor of the New York Mets. By Geico. By AT&T, rethink possible. By Parts Authority Auto Parts Superstore, where the answer is always yes. And by Cholula Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. Get to Citi Field as the series with Jose Reyes and the Marlins begins tomorrow night at 7:10 p.m. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. There's your Mets pocket schedule. Brought to you by Subway. Remember, you can hear every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. And after the 2 games today, the Marlins come in for 3 starting tomorrow night. Then the Mets' next road trip takes them to Colorado and to Houston before they get back home to play Arizona a week from Friday. Here's your Kia driver on the majors. Would have been a lot more exciting if we'd shown you what we had for you yesterday, because you had the perfect game by Philip Humber and all that. But your less than thrilling Kia around the majors includes the Royals losing their 10th in a row to Ricky Romero and the Blue Jays. The Diamondbacks winning a game finally against the red-hot Braves with Gerardo Parra hitting a grand slam. And the Rangers had Alberto Castillo bunt a ball off his knee for the game-winning suicide squeeze. Bad call. Rangers now 13-3 with that good break. Batista, Lincecum, 2 for the price of 1 today at Citi Field. First pitch coming up. Giants in game 1 of our doubleheader today. Angel Pagan, who has a double and a home run in this series, leading off. Buster Posey swinging the bat incredibly well right now. 11 for 20 over a 5-game hitting streak. Brandon Belt gets his first start of the series at first base. We've already seen his defense in this series, and got that lucky double as well with 2 out in the 9th inning on Saturday.
And on the hill tonight, his first start of the year, Miguel Batista, lifetime 101 and 112. The walks right there are a little bit alarming. He's had a little bit of a struggle out there in the bullpen, although the last two appearances, he's run a goose egg up there. So this is what he's here for. He's for that little doubleheader, that spot starter, the old good old-fashioned spot starter. And we'll take a look at the Mets' Alexis defense. Mike Baxter, first start of the year.
Neuenhuis out in center, Duda in right. It looks like the same cast of characters, does it not, on the infield? It's going to be a long night, Gary.
It's a long day and a long evening. A lot of good baseball to watch. Miguel Batista getting ready to make his first start of the year. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Hospital for Special Surgery. Of course, Batista's last start was the last day of last season when he pitched a 2-hit shutout against the Cincinnati Reds for his 101st career victory. In fact, he made 4 starts down the stretch in September for the Mets last year and pitched very well in all 4 games.
It became the oldest pitcher in Met history to throw a complete game shutout.
Well, Terry Collins had an option with his pitching. He could have left G and Santana intact to pitch the doubleheader today. Then he would have had to use Batista at some point later in the week, probably in Colorado. One thing this does by pushing Santana back to face the Marlins tomorrow, he pitches very well against Florida. It also pushes Mike Pelfrey out of that Florida series and into Colorado. Pelfrey has gotten his lunch more than once against Florida.
Well, you're not going to have a chance to turn it around against that team if you don't pitch against them.
That's a good point. And he's going to have to face them at some point.
Oh, you better believe it.
Division rival. Angel Pagan leads things off. And the first pitch of the day by Batista is in for a strike. Pagan 3 for 10 in this series, has a 7-game hitting streak going after a very slow start. He's got his average up to 233. And having a little uniform issue there. I guess he didn't have time to get dressed before the early start today. You know, I used to play basketball. The referees were always telling us to tuck our shirts in.
Really? Well, I always tucked in my shirt.
Well, you're supposed to.
Right, it's a uniform.
And in baseball, everybody tucks their shirt in.
Football, they don't, and I think the uniform should be tucked in. There's Tim Lincecum,
who informed everybody who was listening today that he would no longer be wearing ties away from the field. Pulled on the ground down to first. And it's grabbed by Ike Davis for the first out of the game. So Pagan retired, 1 out and nobody on. And Melky Cabrera will be the batter. Melky's 2 for 6 in this series. Having a nice start to his year at .316, 400 on base percentage after a big year for Kansas City last year. Melky Cabrera, I think in New York, is looked at a certain way because of the way his career started with the Yankees and the way he played for the Braves, but he is still very much a developing player. And if you look around baseball, Melky's 27 years old. He's one of only 5 players 27 or younger who already has 800 hits.
Johnny Franco's in the building tonight.
Not too many weeks hence, Johnny will be inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame here at Citi Field June the 3rd.
And rightly so. Congratulations, John.
Got a good seat. 1-1 to Cabrera. By the way, if you're wondering who the other 27 or unders are with 800 hits, Prince Fielder, Ryan Zimmerman, Matt Kemp, and Delman Young.
He's in good company, and you know Melky was the favorite over there. Joe Torre, when he was managing, really had faith in Melky, and never quite materialized. But like you said, last year in Kansas City had a terrific year.
By all accounts, his work ethic has improved over the last couple of years, and that always works in your favor. And Batista misses low for ball 4, so Cabrera the first base runner of the game. So 1 out and 1 on, and Pablo Sandoval coming up. Sandoval has played in all 14 games for the Giants this year and hit in every one of them. Batting a .333.
He lost a lot of weight last year, and it looks like he put a little back on, but I mean that first couple of years he was up, he was a bit of a load, so he's someone that's going to have to watch his weight throughout his career.
Switch hitter, and the first pitch fastball is fouled back, and Sandoval attacks just about everything.
Well, he's a guy that I've seen, and the Mets I obviously have struck him out in this series on the fastball up in his eyes. He doesn't lay off. You get 2 strikes on him, you can go up the ladder and he'll chase.
As you see from that graphic, he's had problems in the first inning this year, but he's been hard to get out in any at bat after the first. Funny thing is, last year he was outstanding in the first inning, so it may just be a small sample size to start the season. Sandoval hitting equally well, left-handed and right-handed. Cabrera has a couple of steals already this year. Stole 20 last year. And Batista holding it to try and freeze him. Miguel Batista, now 41 years old, and he's got a rubber arm. He can pitch just about every day. Still throws his fastball 91, 92 miles an hour. Made his major league debut 20 years ago. Off the outside corner to Sandoval. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's always interesting when Batista pitches and there's a runner on first base and he's concerned about him. He's thrown over a couple times already. After he releases the ball, watch his follow through. He'll look over at first base, almost like he's looking to see if the runner went.
Too late now. Once you release the ball.
I know. My point. See how he glances over to first base? Very interesting. I've never seen a pitcher do that. Not every pitch, continually.
That's a good pickup on your part. I've never noticed that before. Sandoval late on the fastball, and it's 2-2.
He didn't do it there. This is the Giants team that had trouble hitting last year. That's a good running fastball away. A good cut. But that ball ran out of the strike zone. You see him reaching for it.
And Cabrera back standing.
Hitters like Sandoval, he's a good one. They're always dangerous because they're just free swingers. Just really got to be careful.
Toley sets up outside. There goes Cabrera. The pitch away, and Toley's throw on the money. Safe.
Oh, boy.
Good throw, but Cabrera beat it for his 3rd stolen base of the year.
And he just did get in there, let me tell you. Nice throw by Toley. Tried a backdoor slider. Right on the money. Just got in. No wasted motion. That's the one thing I've seen with Josh behind the plate, Garrett, is they worked on his footwork. Just got in there. He's a lot quicker with his feet.
Now it's 3-2 to Sandoval, and he rifles one into right field for a base hit, and that'll chase home the game's first run. Duda cuts it off deep. Sandoval trying for 2. The throw to second by Duda. Got him! Lucas Duda with a terrific throw to get Sandoval trying to stretch, but the Giants take a 1-0 lead on Sandoval's base hit.
Well, Sandoval extends his hitting streak to 14 here. And I think a little bit of the rain yesterday probably slowed this ball down a little bit. But Duda throwing a very good arm, an accurate arm, right on the money, and that's what it took.
That's your Delta outfield assist of the game, as Duda right on the money to Tejada to gun down Sandoval. So 1-0 San Francisco. 2 out and nobody on for Buster Posey, and he takes low and away for ball 1. Posey 4 for 8 in this series, and right now 3rd in the National League with that .386 batting average. See what he's done lately, just tearing the cover off the ball. Mets have already caught a break in this doubleheader, in that Bruce Bochy said that Posey will not start the 2nd game today. The first game of this series, he played Posey at first base, which they'll do on occasion to get him some extra at bats.
Good running fastball. I mean, I'd ask for help there. See if he swung.
I think that was a foul ball, wasn't it?
What? No,
he missed it.
Did he call a strike? I didn't see.
I did not see anybody call a strike. Right now the board says 1-2, but I'm not sure that's the count. It might be 2-1. And apparently he did call it a strike.
And I did think that he swung.
Swung more than Brendan Ryan did.
No, gosh, huh? How about Philip Umber? How many Mets now?
At 7 after they were Mets, in addition to 10 before they were Mets. But only the second perfect game. David Cohn had the other one. Posey hits one well out to left center. Back goes Nieuwenhuis deep in the gap, but that ball's out of here.
Oh, boy.
Buster Posey with his second home run of the year, and the Giants now have an early 2-0 lead. That's Posey's second career at bat against Batista, and he's homered in both of them.
Well, this ball is down in the strike zone. Wants it away. Oh, right down the middle, inner half. And boy, did he just put the barrel of that bat, just drop the hammer, as they say.
So 2-0 San Francisco. And now Nate Schierholtz with 2 out and nobody on. Schierholtz hitting at .303, and he takes at his feet for ball 1. Well, the Giants have certainly seen plenty of Batista over the years. 31 career games, 18 career starts against the Giants. Of course, he pitched quite a bit of time early in his career in Arizona, playing in the National League West. Ball and a strike to Schierholtz. Batista achieved probably his defining moment as a Diamondback during that 2001 World Series, when the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees. And now it's 2 balls and a strike to Schierholtz. But it's been an odyssey for Miguel. He's now with his 10th different major league team after starting last year with the Cardinals and coming to the Mets late in the season. And he bounces that fastball. So trying to keep the ball down in the zone with the fastball, but he's really having trouble.
And we mentioned at the top, Garrett, that he came into this game with 6 walks in 5 innings, and it almost seems like, okay, I'm 41 years old. I know I don't throw like I used to. I've really got to keep the ball down in the strike zone. It's almost overcompensation. A lot of pitches in the dirt.
Already his 24th pitch of this opening inning, and Schierholtz fouls off the fastball. He got that one up a little bit.
92 mile an hour. Nothing wrong with that.
Brandon Belt is waiting on deck.
Oh, Batista's one of those guys, if he gets ahead, he wants you to swing at a bad pitch.
And on 3-2, Schierholtz pops one off the end of the bat that may fall in, and it does for a base hit. Gloved by Baxter, and he'll hold Schierholtz to a single. The ball came right off the end of the bat, and Schierholtz dunks it along the left field line.
Well, that's a reverse Texas leaguer right there. I guess that's kind of an outdated baseball term.
More toward the handle than the end. Baxter did well to keep that ball from getting by him.
Had a lot of English on that.
So 4 straight Giants have reached base, and now Brandon Belt. Belt starting for the 6th time this year as Aubrey Huff sits in game 1, hitting at .238. We've seen Belt in each of the first 2 games of this series, and we've seen him make important defensive plays. Got an out at the plate to save what could have been the winning run on Friday, and then he started what could have been a double play in the 9th inning on Saturday. And Schierholtz has a stolen base. Second of the inning against Batista, and the first of the year for Schierholtz.
Boy, the Giants are just feeling frisky here. They must have got their rest last night. 2 stolen bases in the first inning.
Schierholtz got a huge jump. So now runner in scoring position for Belt. A 2-0 count. And he hits it out to left field. A long run back toward the line for Baxter, and he gets there to end the inning. But the Giants put up a 2-spot against Batista in the first inning. Sandoval drives in the first run. And then Buster Posey goes to work. His second home run of the season. And the Giants give Tim Lincecum a 2-0 lead as he takes them out in the bottom of the first. For the first game of the doubleheader. Kirk Neuenhuis back in the leadoff spot for the third time. Mike Baxter gets his first start of the year, batting eighth and playing left field, with Jason Bay sitting this one out. David Wright and Josh Tolley both in the top 4 in the National League in hitting.
And believe it or not, Tim Lincecum, the 2-time Cy Young Award winner, this is his 7th season. How about that? It just doesn't seem like he's been in the big leagues that long.
27 years old, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, and Kirk Neuenhuis takes a strike. Neuenhuis had his 7-game hitting streak stopped on Saturday when he went 0 for 5, but he hit the ball that resulted in the error on Posey that ended that wacky 9th inning and gave the Mets the win. Lincecum misses inside. Now, as Keith detailed in the open, Lincecum's given up 16 runs this year, and 9 of the 16 have come in the first inning. Now, if you're a hitter and you know a pitcher's having that kind of first inning trouble, is that going to cause you to be more patient, more aggressive, or neither?
Look at his walks as compared to innings pitched, and he's only walked 4 batters in 13 2/3. He's given up 22 hits, so he's throwing strikes. So he must not be throwing hard, not locating. So to me, it would be all aggressive and going after him quick, try to get him an early shower.
Well, there's no question his velocity is down. As Neuenhuis hits one toward the middle. Nice dive by Burris from the seat of his pants. He throws him out. An outstanding play by Emmanuel Burris. Didn't have time to get up, so he sat there and made the play.
Nice recovery after he knocked it down with the bare hand, and nice pick by Belt. Beautiful play all the way around, but that's the one right there. That is a fine play.
So one nice play by Burris and one out for Lincecum. Now Daniel Murphy. And Murph takes a strike.
And that was a great camera angle we had for you young first basemen out there. You saw Belt pick that from behind, how he worked from the ground up on that scoop. Textbook. And you just keep your eye on the first baseman here, partial. Just watch him work from the ground up and go reach for it too. Very nicely done. That's how it's done.
And Murphy goes down swinging on the changeup by Lincecum, and that's the second out. It's Messrs. Lincecum and Wilson, at least.
Oh my goodness.
That's what they're dressed up for Halloween. So 2 out and nobody on. Now David Wright, who had his 10-game hitting streak stopped on Saturday, still leads the National League in on-base percentage with that .510 mark, 2nd in the league in hitting.
He's had his difficulties over his career with Lincecum. David just 2 for 17.
And 0 for his last 11 with 8 strikeouts. The Mets, when Lincecum first came up, hit him pretty well, but the last 3 times they faced him, Lincecum has allowed them virtually nothing.
Oh boy, he threw that fastball right by him. And the Coors Light Giant defense, and I tell you what, they came in here with 16 errors and they lost that ball game yesterday. They made 3 errors, not yesterday, 2 days ago. It cost them the game. But then again, the Mets almost gave him a gift wrap too.
It was like a potlatch. Overwhelming gifts on both sides.
Let's hope it's not 'tis the season.
It's early. 2-1 to David, and that's below the knees. But Lincecum throwing a little harder. His fastball's been averaging less than 91, and he's come out throwing in the 92 range consistently in the first inning.
Hey, this game, you think you got it figured out, it'll come and bite you. Oh, good breaking ball there. And I'm not by any means saying that Lincecum got cocky or anything, but it's just funny how you think you're going along and it's always you hit a bump on the road. I don't care who you are.
See how his fastball velocity has dipped over the last few years. And that's outside, ball 4, and David works out a 2-out walk. So the Mets have their first base runner. Dave Righetti, the very valuable Giants pitching coach.
Well, they got
next to Bruce Bochy.
Excuse me, Garrett. They got to feel pretty good about how he's throwing. He's got his fastball. It said his fastball was not there. No, the velocity wasn't there. But they felt the last outing in Philly, he found his mechanics. So far, he looks pretty good to me.
Lucas Duda hops into the cleanup spot in this first game today. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Due to 1 for 4 in the series. Ike Davis dropped down to the 5-hole. Jason Bay not playing in this game, so a little different look to the middle of Terry Collins' lineups. He tries to get those 3 guys going. The top 3 guys in the order have been getting on, but between Davis, Duda, and Bay, they've had trouble getting them around. And a fastball strike 0-2.
He looks pretty sharp early here. He's got that big motion, or he really hides the ball from the hitter. And of course, he's got all the 3 pitches.
Well, it's a unique delivery. They've been calling him the freak since he first came up with this catapult delivery.
Very flexible athlete. Something that he works on, his flexibility.
David back in standing.
As you can see, straight up, turns his back, and comes up with that shoulder, and that ball is so hidden from the hitter. Stiff-legged coming forward too.
And the complete follow through. David started and stopped, but it doesn't matter because Duda strikes out on the changeup to end the inning. So Lincecum with a couple of punch outs and a 2-0 lead for the Giants after 1. A question. Philip Humber, the 7th pitcher to throw a no-hitter after leaving the Mets. We'd like you to identify the other 6 if you could.
Well,
I'd say that 5 of the 6 are pretty easy, and then there's one that's kind of the stumper. Emmanuel Burris leads off in the 2nd inning. Already made a fine defensive play. He takes a strike from Batista. Burris 3 for 8 in this series. He's played second base in all 3 games in this set.
came up in 2008. He's a base stealer. Stole 11 bases and only caught 3 times last year in limited play.
The guy slated to be the Giants' regular second baseman, Freddie Sanchez, came off shoulder surgery in the offseason and is just about to start a rehab stint tonight. They figure 3 weeks for Sanchez and he'll be ready to go. So Burris and Ryan Theriot have been sharing second base, but Theriot hasn't been available in the series yet because he was sick, which is how Aubrey Huff came to be playing second base in the 9th inning on Saturday for the first time in his career. And Huff forgot that you have to cover second base on a ground ball to short if you're the second baseman, which led to the Met win. It's sharply, and Tejada with a nice stop. Spins and fires for the first down. A hot shot from Burris, and Tejada equal to the task, 1 away.
Well, that's just nicely done. Ball came up nice, but that's a bullet. Good reaction, good sure hands. He's played a solid shortstop in this so far this young season.
And there's been a lot of focus on Ruben today as everybody gets ready to write their preview stories for tomorrow's return to Citi Field of Jose Reyes. And you know, Ruben's done a terrific job so far this year, but as players and as people, they could not be more dissimilar. Ruben is so quiet,
yes,
and performs his job in an understated fashion, 180 degrees opposed to the way Reyes goes about things. Brandon Crawford looking to find out of an 0 for 16 skid. And he takes it wide, 1-1.
Well, he's a guy that's impressed so far this series with his glove. He can really pick it, and he's got great reactions. I mean, some nice plays in this series.
Nice slider by Batista, and it's 1-2. Last September the 1st, Miguel Batista, at age 40, picked up his 100th career win. Did that against the Marlins in a Mets uniform. So Lincecum waiting on deck. And Crawford fouls it off. I mean, that's a long time to wait for your 100th win. Came in his 19th season.
Well, when your career has been basically, you really can't say he's been a starter in most of his career. He's been done a little bit of both, starting and relieving.
Wright was playing off the line, has to retreat to make the backhand, and the throw not in time.
Oh, they called Ike off the base, and he's right.
First base umpire Mike Estabrook making the call.
Ike's did a little bit of cheat here and left a little early, and I don't know if he had to. Oh, yes, he did. So that's a good time to do it. Nice try. It's only when it's going to be a tie base or the runner's going to beat it out do you want to come off. And that's the time to do it. And that is a perfect Coors Light freeze can. Perfect.
And whether he came off or not, Crawford was going to be safe. So Crawford snaps an 0 for 16 skid. That gives Lincecum a chance to bunt him over. But he slashes one on the Butcher Boy and fouls it off. Wright coming hard. Lincecum took a shot at him.
Well, the first base umpire, Mike Estabrook, called Davis off the base, but really the runner was safe. Period. End of story.
How, as a first baseman, do you know in your head that it's the right time to cheat off the bag?
Now, just remember one thing. When David Wright has a long throw across the bag, you can look over a quick glance down the line, the runner, and make a judgment. Now, it's something that I played, and Ike's very adept at it too. Ron Fairley taught me how to cheat when I was a young player in St. Louis, and that is, it has to be fluid, much like Ike did right there.
Lincecum pops it up, totally coming back, but it's in the crowd.
It can't be herky-jerky or disjointed. It has to be one flow forward. Exactly. I mean, the classic example is the replay of Ike, how he did it. It was just perfect. You want to go get the ball, and right before you catch it, you just come forward. You just go for it. So it's like you're going to make the play, and you're going to throw second base all in one. And you're really trying to deceive the umpire. Does it work? You might get the call sometimes. But that's the time to do it. Ike did it perfectly.
In that demonstration, you look like you could have been doing Swan Lake. Will Lincecum strikes out with Crawford running. It's a strike him out, throw him out double play. Very strange play by the Giants. With Lincecum at the plate, he strikes out, and Toley guns down Crawford to end the inning. Keeps it 2-0 Giants. Is brought to you by Toyota. When you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the day is Pat Cawley of Glendale. Contact Pat's office at patcawley.org. And by City, visit Mets.com/City Chalk Talk to learn about a special 1-hour Chalk Talk with Sandy Alderson and Ron Darling on May the 5th. That's down 2-0 as Ike Davis leads off in the bottom of the second. Ike is 1 for 9 in this series. His average stuck at 148 for the year.
Yeah, that one hit was a lucky one, too. He's just really, his bat has been dragging. He's got too much of floating motion forward, and it's slowing down his bat speed. It makes him susceptible to off-speed breaking stuff, change-ups.
So how do you keep yourself from floating, as you say?
You just got to work in BP, and you got to work to left field. You got to work over the shortstop's head, and that one day you get up there, and boy, the outside corner looks like it's 15 yards away, and then finally you hit that. The guy throws a knee-high outside corner pitch on the outside corner, and you hit it. You drive it into left center field, and you go, there it is. I've got it back, and that's what Ike is searching for.
But can you consciously tell yourself to stay back?
Well, you can consciously tell yourself to stay back in batting practice. But when a game time comes and you don't have your rhythm, and Ike's a very rhythmic hitter, you know, you just got to keep plugging, you know. See, I don't feel Ike feels he can confident on that outside corner. He's taking a lot of that outside strikes, and it's all part of slumps, and for Ike obviously it's more glaring right now because it's the beginning of the season.
Tolle and Tejada to follow. Lincecum with a 3-2 to Davis, and he fouls back the fastball. Ike has struck out 17 times already this year in 54 at bats,
which is way too much, but that's because he's just been mired. He's so susceptible to so many pitches, and he misses his pitch. When you're in a slump, you miss your pitch.
You got a piece of that one to stay alive. Lincecum's had a good changeup going early in this game. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat to Ike Davis. And it's on the inside corner. Strike 3 call.
Pretty good pitch right there. Wow.
Third strikeout for Lincecum.
Slider came right in and got him inside. I know that might have been a changeup. That's inside corner. That's got plenty of play.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Josh Tolle. Tolle's been on base in all 13 games he's played this year, hitting at .371. That's 4th in the National League. And Josh, first pitch swinging, pops one up into shallow left. And in comes Cabrera to call. 2 out.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with Tim Lincecum.
Well, he's had a full week since his last start. He faced the Phillies his last time out. Got matched up against Roy Halladay. Gave up 4 in the first, and he was basically done. Pitched pretty well after that first inning, and you never know. Maybe a couple of extra days of rest have done him well. Now 2 out and nobody on for Ruben Tejada. I do know this. The last 3 times Lincecum has faced the Mets, he's given up a total of 1 earned run in those 3 games. 3-0, 0.41.
No, these 7 starts lifetime against the Mets, he's 3-1.
Tejada takes a strike. Ruben 2 for 7 in this series, drove in 3 runs in the Saturday game. Mets and Giants rained out yesterday, necessitating the first doubleheader of the year. And he lays off the slider, and it's 1-1. There are the lifetime numbers. And again, the first 4 games, the Mets did pretty well against Lincecum, but the last 3, nothing. Two balls and a strike.
You like the Giants uniforms, their colors?
The orange and black?
Yeah.
It's classic. Goes back to the New York Giants.
No, but I'm asking you a question. You like them?
Well, I can't tell you it's better than the orange and blue. 2-2 to Tejada.
What was so interesting?
I will say I like the Mets colors a lot better without the Giants black in it.
Yes.
Very happy that the Mets have gone back to the more traditional look.
There's a panda.
One of many. They've got plenty of accoutrements, the Giants fans, to celebrate their players. You've got the panda heads. for Sandoval. You've got the beards for Wilson. You got the hair for Lincecum.
Which shows that your fans have an interest in your team. You've created your fan base. Interest from your fan base is what organization wants.
Yeah, that's ball 4. Tejada aboard as they check out the half swing. Well, it also means they have some rather distinctive looks on their team. You know,
yes.
Not everybody's got
I understand.
a player with Lincecum's locks.
But I guarantee if Lincecum was 3-17, they wouldn't be wearing the long hair.
Right. But if he had a crew cut, I'm not sure how they'd celebrate it. As for Kung Fu Panda, well, that's a whole other story. That's probably the most popular item they sell out at AT&T Park.
And there are a lot of Giant fans here in New York. I think they came from San Francisco.
Some of them did. Some of them were.
My second cousin came on opening night. I left him tickets. I've got clients of my brothers that are here over the weekend. They're coming out to the game, and a friend of my nephew Danny's is here, and I left tickets for him. All from San Francisco. They've come out.
Mike Baxter getting his first start of the year, takes outside. And there are residual, in some cases, second, third, and fourth generation former New York Giants fans who never let their team go as far as their passions are concerned. And some people are even watching the game. Runner goes, no throw by Posey, and it's a stolen base for Tejada as that ball rolled around in Posey's hand.
There's the changeup sinking. And there's a bad exchange right there. Couldn't get the grip.
First stolen base of the year for Tejada, and only the 4th for the Mets in their first 15 games. So a runner in scoring position, 2-1 to Baxter with the pitcher on deck. And he lashes one foul. Baxter has swung the bat pretty well coming off the bench this season, and Terry Collins had said for days that he wanted to make sure to get Baxter a start just to keep his bat fresh, get him 3 or 4 at bats.
And that's the most difficult job for the manager, is keeping your bench feeling like they're a part of the team. I've played a lot earlier in my career, a lot of times when the bench was just buried. Never felt like they contributed.
Baxter pulls one down the right field line. That's an extra base hit. Tejada is in with the first Met run. Baxter racing for second, and he pulls in with an RBI double. So Mike Baxter, his first start of the year, gets an RBI double his first time up, and it cuts the Giants' lead to 2-1.
You know, it's a changeup here. He gets it up. Too much plate. No movement. And I really feel that Lincecum, when he developed that changeup, there's the grip. And that tells it all right there. I just felt he kind of falls in love with his changeup too much. I think it's a dangerous pitch against a left-hander for him. He's got such a good breaking ball.
So the Mets with a run home. Now Miguel Batista, who has 2 career home runs. The last one came 10 years ago. And he takes a strike.
Oh boy, upstairs.
No, Lincecum won back-to-back Cy Young awards in 08 and 09, and there have been only 3 other pitchers to accomplish that feat. Of course, Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson each won 4 in a row. When Koufax was winning them, there was only 1 Cy Young in Major League Baseball, not 1 for each league. Crawford comes in to handle the grounder and throws out Batista to end the inning, but the Mets fashion a run with their 7 and 8 hitters as Baxter drives it home, and it's 2-1 Giants. 155th Street and 8th Avenue in Manhattan. Sat the former home of both the Giants and the Mets. There's some great old still pictures of the Polo Grounds. 447 feet, and those benches were on the field. The franchise began in 1883, and of course the Giants were the first ever world champions under John McGraw. And they even wore world champions uniforms one year after winning the World Series the year before. And Christy Mathewson on those early Giants teams in the early part of the 20th century.
One of the most the best first basemen in baseball history that no one ever thinks of, Bill Terry.
Bill Terry, yeah. Well, the last National Leaguer to hit 400, Bill Terry. Angel Pagan grounded out to first base his first time up. By the way, speaking of the Polo Grounds and deep history, today is the 50th anniversary of the Mets' first win. After they lost their first 9 games in 1962, they beat the Pirates. Jay Hook got the first victory. At the time, the Mets were 0-9, and the Pirates were 10-0.
And the Pirates didn't win it that year.
No, 62 was the Giants, of course.
They had the
lost
three-game.
to the Yankees in the World Series on the slender margin of the line drive that Bobby Richardson caught to end the World Series.
And they finished a tie with the Dodgers, and they had a 3-game playoff, folks, not just a single do or die.
Well, same as in 51. That's what they did in 1962. It was not quite as a classic a finish in Game 3, though. The Giants scored 4 runs in the top of the 9th on a whole bunch of errors and blue pits and won that last game.
Jack Sanford was the big pitcher for the Giants, won 20 in 62. Juan Marichal was on that team, the young Juan Marichal.
2-2 to Pagan is fouled off.
In 62, Warren Spahn started here. Did he not? Was he part of it? Did he come over in 60?
No.
Or was that 64?
65, I think.
5, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got confused, as usual. That's right. Spahn was still with Milwaukee then.
Now the 2-2 to Pagan is fouled off. Now, going back to that first Met win 50 years ago today, the 0-9 Mets beat the 10-0 Pirates. There's been only one other instance in Major League history that a team that was 0-9 or more beat a team that was 9-0 or better. It happened in 1918. Dodgers beat the Giants when the Dodgers were 0-9 and the Giants were 9-0. And this is what I find fascinating. It's never happened in any other major sport that a team that was 0-9 or 0-10 or whatever beat a team that was 9-0 or better. Never happened in the NFL, never happened in the NBA, never happened in the NHL. You would have thought that, especially in the NFL, where on any given Sunday anything can happen, that it might have happened.
I just got to think it's tough to go 0-9 in the NFL, isn't it?
Teams have. Remember the Saints? Remember the Bucks? The Lions went 0-16 one year.
So rare. So when I was a kid growing up, I remember the Steelers being terrible.
Ninth pitch of the at bat, and Pagan goes down swinging. So Batista got it up to 93 for his second strikeout. And on this 50th anniversary of the Mets' first win, look at some of the images from that first exciting Mets victory.
I wonder if that's Bob Veal pitching.
Jason Stengel running off the field after his first success as Mets skipper. He would do that 39 more times. Hit sharply by Cabrera right at Murphy. And Daniel makes the play for the second out. In those days, teams didn't necessarily walk out and shake hands after every win. That's a very recent phenomenon, the walk on the field and shake hands with your teammates every time you win a game.
That's right.
Last 10, you didn't do that when you were playing.
You know what?
Not after every game.
I forget.
The way they do now. Saved it for the special occasions. 2 out and nobody on. Here's Pablo Sandoval, who singled in a run his first time up, and then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double on a fine throw by Lucas Duda, and that might have cost the Giants a run because Buster Posey followed with a home run. Some of the SF contingent. And the slow curve from Batista drops in for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Some pine tar in that helmet.
Now, we've seen a number of guys with that kind of, pine tar laden helmet. Craig Biggio was famous for doing that. Do you think guys do that on purpose?
Yes.
I mean, you couldn't possibly get that much pine tar on the front of your helmet by accident, could you?
It's over a period of time, actually, and it will adhere. I know our helmets were always polished and clean unless someone particularly asked not to have them. And alcohol takes off the pine tar, rubbing alcohol. I used to take it off my hands. I used pine tar, and I used to tend to my bats because you couldn't have pine tar on the label, remember?
Right.
So you have to keep it.
George Brett found that out.
Yes, and so I would always keep it manicured, and I would always use a towel and rubbing alcohol, and it would always get it off your hands.
Now, you didn't wear batting gloves, but I'm wondering whether pine tar is even as necessary for guys who wear gloves.
Oh, I think it's more necessary.
Really?
Yeah, because you can slip on that leather. Absolutely.
Dirt and spit worked well with bare hands. Toward the hole, and I can't make the play to his right. And Sandoval is aboard.
Tough chance here. Ball came up. Should be a base hit. See, he's working from the ground up again, and that just gets over his glove.
They scored that in error.
Really?
Yep.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough error. I think both Sandoval and Davis are a little unhappy with that.
I'm sure Sandoval's much more upset than Davis.
So now Buster Posey, who drilled a home run to left center his first time up today. Posey's second of the year and his second in 2 career at bats against Miguel Batista. So Posey continues to rake, now 12 for his last 21. Giants have been running at every opportunity, including with the pitcher at the plate the last inning. Here's Posey's home run in the first inning.
Fastball inner half down. And this is a home run in the old ballpark, I believe.
Well, I don't know. Did it get over that railing? I couldn't tell. If it gets over the railing, well, I guess it didn't have to clear the railing, right? It just had to get over the top of the wall. It was the orange line under the railing. So I guess it was. 3-0 now to Posey. Are you keeping track, by the way?
Well, that's the truck's job. Schulte.
I think the Mets have hit 3 that would not have been out last year. Not sure. I think the opposition has 1. The one Pagan hit, right? In the first game of this series. And that's wide ball 4. So the Giants have 2 men on. Second walk given up by Batista. Now, Batista coming into this game, Terry Collins said that he would probably be limited to 80 to 85 pitches. And here he is right on the verge of 60 in the 3rd inning. Now, if you missed it earlier, the Mets made a player move before the game today. Ronnie Cedeno has pulled muscle in his side. They're calling it a strained left intercostal. So Cedeno's been placed on the disabled list. And the Mets added a pitcher, right-hander Jeremy Hefner, who is here and in uniform, wearing number 53 and available for today's game. So the Mets are carrying 13 pitchers and have just 4 bench players for this game. So with Batista probably not destined to go more than 5 innings at the most today, the Mets are fortified for the doubleheader. Here's Schierholtz, who dunked one inside the left field line for a base hit his first time up, and skips out of the way for ball 1. Schierholtz then stole his first base of the season. Giants stole 2 in the first inning. Sandoval at third and Posey at first with 2 out. Octavio Dotel, the former Met. Bruce Chen, also a former Met, among their 13 and 10 teams, respectively. Dotel's 13 is the new major league record. The old record had been 12. Mike Morgan played with 12 different teams.
Mike Morgan came up with Baltimore? Am I thinking of the right guy? Went to the Cubs?
I think he started with the Dodgers, didn't he?
Okay, maybe you're right.
1-1. And Sherholtz socks one to deep right field. Duda goes back, takes a look, but that ball is out of here. Nate Sherholtz with a bullet of a 3-run homer. His third home run of the season. And the Giants now have a 5-1 lead. Well, an inning that began with 2 out and nobody on. But the ball that skipped by Davis and was scored in error, then the walk, and Sherholtz buries a 3-run homer.
Well, fastball again. Sherholtz right on it, and that's right down the middle, too. And this will show you. Oh, boy. And that is a 2-iron right there. And
that one would not have been out of the old configuration.
Correct.
Landing in the front low zone. So 2 home runs off Batista today, and now Belt grounds one to Murphy, playing at the edge of the outfield grass. That retires the side. 3 unearned runs for the Giants as Jeremy Hefner just arrived, gets up in the Mets bullpen. 5-1 Giants in the third. We'll have a preview of tomorrow's Mets-Marlins series and the return of Jose Reyes with exclusive interviews, insider info, and debate on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, tomorrow at 5, only on SNY. Kirk Nieuwenhuis leads off for the Mets in the home third. Giants now with a 5-1 lead. Nieuwenhuis robbed of a base hit. Terrific play by Emmanuel Burris his first time up. And all of a sudden, things get a little more interesting with Nieuwenhuis, with the announcement just a moment ago that Andres Torres, who has been out with a calf injury, will begin his rehab assignment tonight in Port St. Lucie.
Well, he keeps on playing the way he's playing. You saw the on-base percentage at .391, which is outstanding. You know, outside of that botched pop-up that tied the ball game Saturday, Kurtz played wonderfully in the outfield. He's done everything they expected. They're not expected. He's done more than they expected. It's been really a pleasant surprise.
Swing and a miss, and Lincecum takes care of Nieuwenhuis. 4th strikeout for Lincecum, 1 down in the home third. By the way, we were both wrong about Mike Morgan. Morgan started with the A's when he was 18 years old.
I don't remember him with the Dodgers. I remember him with the Cubs.
A's, Yankees, Blue Jays, Mariners, Orioles, Dodgers, Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, Twins, Rangers, and Diamondbacks. Murphy takes a strike, and it's 0-2. I'm laughing because Dave Freed
his handwriting's awful.
I mean,
he's atrocious.
You can't understand him when he speaks, and you can't understand him when he writes. He does great work otherwise. He needs to tweet. It's about the only way that he'll be legible. Other than that, he does a great job. 1-2 to Murphy.
He makes us look good.
He does.
Everybody always says, how does Gary know all that stuff?
Oh, a lot of it I just make up. There's Dave. There's Dave.
Oh, now we scared him.
See, we put him on the air last year. Remember, were you here for that?
No.
We slapped a headset on him. I don't even remember why. You must have run off.
No, I was here. Dave said I was here.
And we put him on camera with a headset on, and we let him speak, and he couldn't think of anything to say.
That's par for the course. He doesn't have anything to say.
And if he did, you wouldn't understand it. It's as though he has only a passing friendship with the English language. A mere acquaintance. Lincecum's 3-2 to Murphy. And a tapper toward the middle of the diamond. Burris, another great stop, but this time has no play. Burris has been flashing it today. Murphy with an infield hit.
Well, they're strong defensively up the middle here, the Giants. I like these two kids, Burris and the shortstop Crawford. But the Giants' issues are offense. They need to get some more bats in the lineup.
Well, that's why they need Freddie Sanchez back, because he gives them a bat that Burris does not at second base. So 1 out and 1 on. Mets' second hit. Murphy's now hit in 5 straight games. And here's David Wright, who walked his first time up. One of 2 walks given up by Lincecum today. Here's a strike. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Lays off the slider. Ball and a strike. David still at 733 career RBIs, tied for the Mets all-time lead.
Who's she calling?
I think she's texting.
Oh my goodness.
Nice hat. In the air to right field, and Sherholt's right there. That's the second out. Murphy goes back to first. So Wright is retired. And Lucas Duda will come to the plate with a man on. We mentioned Andres Torres starting his rehab tonight. Another guy who's been kind of forgotten because he was hurt all spring and had such a poor year last year is DJ Carrasco, whom the Mets before last year signed to a 2-year contract, and he was hurt all spring, and he's going to start his rehab assignment in St. Lucie tonight as well. And with the Mets scuffling a bit in the bullpen right now, the more depth they can have in those spots, the better. Duda struck out his first time up. Lincecum's always in a battle to hold runners. Takes him a long time to get rid of the ball to home plate. And Murphy will sneak a stolen base every once in a while. Let her high strike, and it's 1-1. Ike Davis, the on-deck hitter. Ike dropped to number 5 in the lineup today with Duda hitting cleanup. Giants are starting a left-hander in the second game today, Madison Bumgarner. So Davis or Duda or both will probably sit down.
And Lincecum, a strikeout pitcher. Only 8 pitchers. Is one of 8 in the first 5 years to strike out 1,000 batters. Oh, threw that ball right by him upstairs. It's been a struggle for Lucas. He can't seem to get going.
Now the 2-2. And he fouls it back. Now Lincecum had 4 straight years with 200 or more innings and more strikeouts than innings, which is a real rarity. Only Santana, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and Nolan Ryan have done that, in addition to Lincecum. And you know, stature-wise, Lincecum's probably closest to Pedro in that group.
Well, you got to believe that if he was pitching in the 60s, he'd be a 300 strikeout guy. Back in the day when they would throw 280 innings, 275.
Well, but the question about Lincecum has always been about his pitching mechanics, which were taught to him by his dad at a very young age. And there you see what we were talking about. More than 200 innings and more strikeouts than innings pitched 4 years in a row. And you know, there was always concern about the amount of torque that Lincecum puts on his body because of these mechanics, and how they would hold up, and how he would hold up as a relatively slight pitcher.
And the father basically told them, don't change my kid.
And there's been no reason to. And I don't think anybody's going to change him now. The question for the Giants, though, is this a pitcher that you invest in long term? They've already given long-term contracts to Matt Cain and Madison Bumgarner. Now the question is, will they do the same with Lincecum, and for how long?
Well, they offered him, didn't they offer him $100 million and he turned it down? So I guess they were willing to invest in him.
That's before he got off to a slow start.
Well, it's a lot of cabbage to turn down.
Murphy will take off. 3-2 to Duda is 2 high, ball 4. So Lincecum issues his 3rd walk of the day. And if nothing else, the Mets are at least building his pitch count, averaging over 20 pitches an inning through these first 3. Now the Mets have 2 men on, trailing 5-1 in the 3rd. And Ike Davis will get his turn. Ike took a call 3rd strike his first time up. The Mets have been very resolved to keep this patient approach, which has served them well both last season and through the first couple of weeks of this year, in terms of getting runners on base and in terms of working deep pitch counts against starters. The problem is they haven't been able to translate it into runs. The Mets are 2nd in the league in on base percentage, but 13th in runs scored.
Well, the middle of the order has not been productive of late.
Little dribbler, and it hits Davis in the batter's box, a foul ball.
See, once again, Ike out in front makes him susceptible to the changeup, anything off speed, but breaking. He's way out in front, hit the ball at the end of his bat. He's way too forward in contact with that ball.
So now Lincecum ahead of him 0-2. Lincecum last year had the first losing year of his career. He was 13-14, but his ERA was 2.74, so he didn't pitch badly. See the Mets' offensive numbers. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt, and stopped nicely by Posey to keep the runners from advancing.
But I'll tell you what, Posey's just getting the workout, because Lincecum has thrown a lot of balls in the dirt. And it's always that changeup that he's choking too much. I like his breaking ball better than his changeup.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Davis.
There it is.
It's in there for a call strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Lincecum. Second time he's gotten Davis looking. 5-1 Giants after 3. Question. We asked who were the other 6 former Mets who threw no-hitters after leaving the Mets. The group that Philip Humber joined. Now, Gooden, Cone, Scott, Seaver, Ryan, you probably knew without looking, but Hideo Nomo was the tough one to remember. His second career no-hitter came with the Red Sox after he left the Mets. Emmanuel Burris leads off in the 4th inning against Miguel Batista, who's given up a couple of home runs. Mets are down 5-1. Burris hit the ball hard his first time up. Tejada in a nice play going to his left and threw him out. Burris, Crawford, and Lincecum, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Giants in the 4th.
And if you're wondering who the 10 pitchers who threw no-hitters before joining the Mets are, Warren Spahn did it 2 times. Dean Chance, Don Cardwell, Doc Ellis. I didn't know Doc Ellis pitched for the Mets. John Candelaria, Brett Saberhagen, Al Leiter, Kenny Rogers, Nomo, and Scott Erickson.
That's Doc Ellis and Doc Medich. They were traded for each other. Line the other way, a base hit for Emmanuel Burris. So Burris has his 4th hit of the series. Well, Phil Humber, the latest, the 21st perfect game in Major League history on what might or might not have been a swing to end the game. Brendan Ryan stood around and argued about it rather than running to first base. A.J. Przinsky completed the play. What do you think?
I didn't think he swung, but he's got a run there. And anything close in that situation, they're going to ring you up.
By the way, Dale Mitchell didn't swing on Don Larson's last out of his perfect game either.
I saw the highlights of Humber's perfect game.
Driven to left field off the bat of Brandon Crawford, and that'll get in the gap and all the way to the wall. Burris around third. He can fly, and he'll score easily on an RBI double from Brandon Crawford. And now it's 6-1 San Francisco. Well, the Mets were playing very shallow to the opposite field against Crawford, and he burned them.
Now the fastball. Right down, well, outside corner. That's just good hitting. It had a little movement, but it just flat. It didn't sink. And Baxter playing shallow, and that ball wouldn't have mattered anyway. That was a nice gapper.
Crawford was 0 for 16 coming into the game. Got an infield hit his first time up, and now a ringing double as Manny Acosta gets up in the Mets bullpen. 6 runs and 7 hits now for the Giants. Mets play for the bunt with Lincecum up. And he gets this bunt down. Batista looks at third, but settles for the sure out. 1-4 on the sacrifice, moving Crawford over to third.
Let's see if he had a play at third here. And, you know, his back's to the play. He needs the catcher's help. He's got him.
Would have had to make the tag at third base, so David's still retreating to the bag. So 1 out. Crawford now at third, and Angel Pagan will try and get him in. Mets have to bring the infield in, already down by 5 runs. Pagan is grounded to first and struck out 0 for 2. We mentioned that Humber's perfect game was only the 21st, but they've been coming fast and furious the last 3+ years. Mark Burley in 09, Dallas Braden and Roy Halladay within 3 weeks of each other in 2010, and now Humber joins the crew.
And Burley will get the start in the second game of the series against the Mets.
Now pitching for the Marlins. By the way, Humber's only the second pitcher for whom his perfect game was his first career complete game. Braden was the first, Humber the second. Of course, complete games have become so rare, you would think that for a lot of pitchers trying for no-hitters, it might be their first effort or close to their first effort at a complete game. 1-2 now to Pagan. If you'll remember, the Mets pressed Humber into service for his first big league start in completely unfair circumstances as they were going through their collapse in 2007. He had been sitting around since the 1st of September, and they pitched him in the last week of September in an untenable situation. Over the mound toward the middle, cut off by Tejada, and he gets the out, and Crawford never broke from third.
He's got to go on
with
that.
1 out. But Tejada makes a superb play and throws out Pagan for the 2nd out.
This is a terrific play. And he just continues to play great defense. Now, from a runner's point of view, he doesn't know right away that the pitcher's going to make the play. So obviously he was not told on contact to break home with the infield in. I disagree with the play because you're up 6-1. Have him run.
Push the envelope.
Yep.
Here's Melky Cabrera with 2 out and a runner at third.
So this is just a nice play by Tejada. No question about it.
And that just missed to Cabrera, 2-0. Melky walked, stole a base, scored a run in the first, grounded out in the third, 0 for 1. Giants with 6 runs and 7 hits. Home runs by Posey and Sherholtz accounting for the first 5 runs. And then Crawford with the RBI double here in the fourth. And now it's 3-0 to Cabrera. And Acosta pitching like he means it down in the Mets bullpen.
Well, if he loses Cabrera, I don't think he's going to stay in for Sandoval, who's hit 2 balls hard off of Batista.
Now it's 3-1 to Melky Cabrera, and he misses ball 4. Walk number 3 issued by Batista, and that'll be the last pitch he throws today. Sign's gone to the bullpen. Manny Acosta will be coming in. Batista will exit after 3 2/3 in his first start of the year. Not going nearly as well as his last start of last year when he threw a 2-hit shutout. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Verizon. Acosta coming in, 6-1 San Francisco. We'll be right back. Header with insider info and opinion, plus up-to-the-minute Mets news as they gear up for tomorrow's series opener against Jose Reyes and the Marlins on Mets Blog, presented by Verizon, featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Rough outing for Miguel Batista in his first start of the year. 3 runs unearned because of a questionable scoring decision on the ball hit that Ike Davis was charged with an error. Nonetheless, Manny Acosta comes in.
Well, Manny's more suited for middle relief.
First outing in 6 days for Manny. Who last pitched in Atlanta, a 3-inning stint for him last Tuesday. And the first pitch he throws is fouled off by Sandoval.
Well, Sandoval does not care who's out there. He's going to swing the bat.
Crawford and Cabrera, the base runners, with 2 out. A run in here in the fourth for the Giants. Sandoval singled in a run in the first, reached on that error by Davis and scored a run in the third. And Acosta throws a fastball that just misses. A ball and a strike. The Mets fortified in their bullpen now with Jeremy Hefner's arrival. So they've got 13 pitchers on their staff. Somebody needs to go out and get that. So Josh Thole probably is a heck of a housekeeper at home.
Very nice of him to do that for his pitcher. They're out there focusing to get the out. I like that.
Now what happens if that plastic bag is going across the infield and somebody hits a ball and goes in the bag?
It's playable.
You got to throw the bag to first, like Mulholland threw the glove. Sandoval hits it well out to center, but Nieuwenhuis is there, and that ends the inning. The Giants add a run on Crawford's RBI double. 6-1 San Francisco in the fourth. Josh Thole leads off for New York in the home fourth inning, and Tim Lincecum pours in a fastball for a strike. Thole flied to left his first time up. Tejada and Baxter to follow in the bottom of the fourth. So Lincecum looking for his first win of the year, well fortified now with a 5-run lead. Ball and a strike to Thole.
Interesting that Lincecum now first two pitches fastballs under 90 miles an hour, both 89.
Had been throwing 92 earlier.
There's an 82 mile an hour change up in the strike zone. Pitch to hit. I just think he overuses his changeup now since he developed that pitch. What do I know? He's won 2 Cy Youngs in a row.
2-2 now to Thole.
There's a slider. Well, we talked earlier, Gary, we came at the top. Lincecum in 13 2/3 coming in, only walked 4, but he's got 3 walks in his first 3 innings of work.
He's thrown a lot of pitches, 67 pitches through 3 innings, and 6 more to Thole without a result. So even if Lincecum is able to hold the lead here, it's unlikely he's going to go deep into this game. Miguel Batista lasted just 3 2/3 for the Mets, and Thole down swinging, chasing the fastball. That's 6 strikeouts now for Lincecum.
Well, I know the ball's moving, but that's just a swish. Sweeping at it there, butt flying out. not a good swing with 2 strikes.
By the way, is he in contact with the rubber when he throws the ball?
Supposed to be.
I know he's supposed to be, but he wouldn't be the first pitcher to be in front of the rubber when he throws. 1 out and nobody on. Here's Ruben Tejada, who walked, stole a base, and scored the Mets' only run in the 2nd inning. First stolen base of the year for Ruben. Continues to play well, getting on base regularly, fielding his position very well. Line toward the middle, and there's a base hit for Tejada. So the Mets have their 3rd hit, and Tejada's aboard for the 2nd straight time. Takes the hard turn. So 1 out and 1 on. There's Jeremy Hefner talking it over with bullpen coach Ricky Bonas. So they brought in Acosta to finish the inning in the 4th, but Hefner, who's more used to starting, they might well have him start the inning in the 5th to try and get some extended work out of him. Pitcher spot 2 up next with the number 8 hitter Baxter up. Well, 54-5 is pretty good.
That's called shutting the door.
But how about this? Their pitcher in the 2nd game today, Madison Bumgarner, where they score 3 runs for him, 19-2. So I think what it is this Giants pitching staff is so used to being run starved. Matt Cain has been a guy who's been a hard luck pitcher his whole career because the Giants just don't score a lot of runs. Now behind on the number 8 hitter, 2-0 after giving up a double to Baxter his first time up. That is the 10-year-old version of Tim Lincecum on the left.
Not much has changed.
Well, his dad taught him that at a very young age. He told him you need to be able to pick the dollar bill up off the ground. That's the way he gets his full extension both backward and forward.
He's struggling. They spotted him a nice 5-run lead here. He needs 5 outs to get a W. And he's all over the place.
This is his 80th pitch, and Baxter takes a strike. Scott Hairston's come out on deck to pinch hit for Acosta as the Mets try to fight their way back into this game.
Now this right here, Gary, it's 3-1. Don't take. Get a good fastball to hit, take a rip. Sorry. He may have been given the takes. I don't know. It's a whole different philosophy today. I'm sorry.
I don't think he was given the takes.
It's a lot of game left. You got a pitcher that missed badly with 3 fastballs. Throws a fastball right down the pipe, 89 miles an hour, and you're 3-1. He's got a 5-run lead. Take a rip.
And he got a double against him first time up, albeit that was on the changeup. So I don't know, maybe he's sitting changeup again.
This is a good pitcher right here. You don't want it. You want to hit his changeup, his secondary pitches, or you want to hit his fastball?
Well, he swings and misses at the fastball. 7 strikeouts now for Lincecum. So he's using up a lot of pitches, but the results have certainly been spectacular for Lincecum with 7 strikeouts and 3 2/3.
Baxter's a low ball hitter, just a little under that pitch.
So now Scott Hairston pinch hitting for Acosta. It was Hairston who scored the winning run on Saturday with a nice kick slide to just impede Buster Posey enough to force the bad throw that brought home the winning run. And Scott said after the game, it's what I do on double plays. You know, it's your job to try and break up the double play. But he said it's the first time he had ever been called upon to break up a double play at home plate like that.
He knows how to play the game. That was a clean play. It's just playing hard, and it's hustle.
And Bruce Bochy acknowledged as much today before the game. He said it was a normal play. It was exactly what you'd expect, and Bochy should know he was a catcher. He and Posey both protested at the time, but Posey said after the game too, it wasn't interference. It was just a clean play. 1-1 to Hairston, and the breaking ball sits low. 2-1. Here it is from Saturday.
wins the ball game too now. The hustle. That's a double play.
And Hairston's hand was in a spot where he could hit home plate while his leg went out to get Posey, and that brought Tejada home with the winning run. Inside, it's 3-1 to Hairston. So Lincecum continues to struggle to throw strikes, running 3-ball count after 3-ball count, and that's why he's thrown 87 pitches in the 4th inning. Threw 94 in 6 innings in his last start against the Phillies. 3-1 to Hairston, and he's swinging. You didn't think he was going to let a 3-1 fastball go, did you?
No.
Here
Well,
again is that
it's
slide.
going out of his way, and next time I think Posey will realize maybe you want to just not take it for granted. That's clean, perfectly clean. And that made the difference in the throw.
Well, there was certainly more attention paid to it because of Posey getting taken out and hurt his ankle last year, but this was completely different. Runner goes the 3-2, and he struck him out. Well, Lincecum strikes out 3 in the inning. He's got 8 strikeouts through 4 and a 6-1 lead. Jeremy Hefner set to make his big league debut. For 9 years, he was the power plant for the New York Mets, the guy who supplied the electricity. And tomorrow, Jose Reyes makes his return to Citi Field. But for the moment, this is the Major League debut for Jeremy Hefner, who was off to a very good start as a starter down in Buffalo.
Well, you see his numbers, and I think what the numbers don't tell you is that in those 18 in the 3rd innings pitched, only 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. He's a guy that puts the ball in play.
And the first man he'll face in the major leagues is Buster Posey, who already has a home run today, has also drawn a walk. It'll be Posey, Scherholtz, and Belt for the Giants as Hefner throws a first pitch changeup for a strike. Hefner out of Oral Roberts University, a 5th round pick by the San Diego Padres in 2007. And the fastball is fouled back. He was claimed on waivers last November by the Pirates, and then the Mets claimed him on waivers from Pittsburgh in December. Brought him to spring training this year. Had a couple of outings before being sent down. 6'4" right-hander. And that curveball misses. A ball and 2 strikes to Posey.
Sorry, Gare. I was saying nothing that was not important. Go ahead.
You sure?
Oh, you got Don Drysdale's number.
That's true. 53. Breaking ball hit on the ground to short. Nice big hop for Tejada. And Posey retired 1 away. Time for the Toyota tweet of the game. We want to know what you think about the Mets having a pregame scoreboard presentation for Jose Reyes tomorrow night. Let us know what you think. Tweet to @SNYTV with the hashtag SNYMets. And we'll check back in later in the game to see what your thoughts are. Here's Nate Scherholtz, who has the biggest hit of this game, a 3-run homer against Miguel Batista into the Mo zone in the 3rd inning. He's also single to left, so he's 2 for 2. And he rolls over this one to second base. Murph gives ground and throws him out. So 2 ground ball outs for Jeremy Hefner to start his first big league outing. So far, so good. The Mets originally drafted Hefner out of high school in 2004, 46th rounder, but he didn't sign. And then they drafted him again in 2005, and again he didn't sign, and wound up being drafted by the Padres after he came out of Oral Roberts and signing then. But the Mets got their man eventually.
They sure did. They hunted him down.
Here's Brandon Belt, who's flied to left and grounded to second, 0 for 2. And he rips one down the right field line. That's a fair ball going to the corner. Belt heads for second as Duda digs it out along the sidewall. So it's a 2-out double for Brandon Belt. His second hit of the series, this one far better struck than the first one he hit. It was that pop fly with 2 out in the 9th on Saturday that eluded Neuenhuis. So a runner in scoring position with 2 down. Now Emmanuel Burris, who singled to left and scored a run in the 4th, 1 for 2. Jeremy Hefner, born, raised, and still lives in Perkins, Oklahoma.
Well, Oral Roberts is in Tulsa, and I played my AAA ball in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ronnie played his AA ball in Tulsa. I love that town. I had a great time.
When you were living on Tulsa time?
Living on Tulsa time, I had 353 and 335. I think you're going to have a good time in that town.
Nothing better than being a driller.
Actually, we were the Oilers.
Oh, really?
Yes, we were the Tulsa Oilers.
Wasn't that basically the same thing as the driller?
Sure.
Because the oil is what you get after you drill, right?
Correct.
Baby?
Yes, sir. You got another game to do, Gary. Don't, you know.
Hey, we're almost halfway through this one.
Pace yourself.
Enjoying one of your Tootsie Pops and having a good time.
Good. You like the grape flavor.
In the air to center field. Neuenhuis has it lined up as he retreats, and that retires the side. So Jeremy Hefner throws up a 0 in his first big league inning. Grand Central Station halfway through this one. 6-1 Giants. Home 5th inning. Kirk Neuenhuis leads off against Tim Lincecum, and he takes wide for ball 1. Nieuwenhuis is grounded to second and struck out. One of 8 strikeouts for Lincecum over the first 4 innings. The biggest problem for Lincecum, though, is pitch count, up to 90 already. Well, we got Kevin Burkhardt back from East Hartford. Kevin, how you doing?
This is football weather, Gary. That's for sure. I'm doing just fine, you know. And we watched Kirk Nieuwenhuis at the plate here. Nieuwenhuis, you go back to last year and really a scary situation. His good friend, maybe his best friend, and his roommate since he was drafted is Sean Ratliff, a Stanford guy. They were both taken in the 08 draft. They've been roommates ever since they started pro ball in Brooklyn. And last year he is behind Ratliff, who's on deck as Nieuwenhuis draws the walk here, started off against Lincecum. He's waiting behind Ratliff, who's on deck. Zach Lutz at the plate, and Zach Lutz hits a foul ball that hits Sean Ratliff in the eye. He breaks 6 bones. It detaches his retina. He had to undergo 6 surgeries, and Sean Ratliff out all last year. This year tried to come back in the spring. Again, they were roommates, and he was hitting the ball pretty well, seeing the ball well, trying to make that comeback. But in a year where he went just 3 for 22 in Port St. Lucie, just had trouble seeing the ball, especially at night, and especially the breaking balls. Sean Ratliff retired over the weekend. Just a sad story. Again, a 4th-round pick in 08 out of Stanford, and Nieuwenhuis said, you know, it's tough. He said he really handled himself well last year. Ike Davis, also in that 08 draft, also great friends with Ratliff. As a matter of fact, they lived together in Arizona in the offseason and trained together. Here's a bullet by Murphy. Mets have something going against Lincecum. You know, Ike said, you know, it's just sad. He had so much talent. It's going to be weird without him, and I spoke to him. He's just trying to figure out what to do next. He has 1 semester left at Stanford, and now it's on to the next portion of his life with Sean Ratliff. We wish him well.
It's really an awful story. It's very similar to what happened to Juan Encarnacion. A similar situation on deck, got hit in the eye, and it ended his career. At least in Encarnacion's case, he had a chance to fulfill his big league dreams, but with Sean Ratliff, it looks like that's not going to happen now.
And, you know, he was a guy that scouts told me when the Mets signed him, he had Paul Bunyan-esque power. I mean, you go back to 2010, he had 21 homers and 35 doubles in Binghamton. So a lot of potential, but a very smart guy.
Jeremy Affeldt gets up in the Giants bullpen. Lincecum struggling again. He's now walked 4. He's given up only 4 hits, but with nobody out in the 5th, already at 95 pitches, Bruce Bochy's not going to let this game get away. So Lincecum's got to get it in gear in a hurry, and he's got to do it against the heart of the Mets order. David Wright up with 2 men on, and David fouls back the first pitch fastball. And that fastball, which started out the day at 92, has now backed up to 88 for Lincecum.
I see David in his swing, Gary, starting to lift that front shoulder and get a little more of that uppercut back, which I don't like.
Especially right now, you want to keep the line moving against Lincecum. Ball and a strike. Lucas Duda waiting on deck. Mets have been behind from the outset in this game. Giants scored 2 in the first. Lincecum's had the lead since he took the mound.
And White lines one to left field. On comes Cabrera, and he picks it off. Now hustling to get back is Nieuwenhuis, and it gets away from Burris. Otherwise, Nieuwenhuis might have been doubled off. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, you want to, on this play, throw, you're on the run, throw a long hop. I know it looks easy up here, but don't want to give you can't reach him. And you've made a decision now, and Cabrera has. Okay, I'm off balance. I may not be able to reach him on a fly. I want to get rid of it fast. Throw it in the ground. Give him the long, easy hop. Because you got him doubled off. That in-between hop is tough.
So the Mets get a break there as Nieuwenhuis is able to get back. 1 out. Runner still at first and second for Duda, who struck out and walked today. He fists one foul. 0-1. So David Wright 0 for 2 and a walk today, after taking his first 0 for the season on Saturday. Mets have had base runners in every inning against Lincecum as we look at the Delta 5th inning recap. But a home run in the first inning by Posey, a 3-run shot by Scherholz in the 3rd. As Miguel Batista got lit up in his first start of the year. Mike Baxter driving in the only Met run in his first start of the season. Now Duda with a chance to do some damage, and it's in the dirt. 2-1. Ike Davis, who has struck out looking twice against Lincecum today, waiting on deck. So Lincecum up over 100 pitches now, and you have to figure that if he gets through this 5th inning, it might be his last inning. Affeldt staying busy in case he can't complete this. And now it's 3-1 on Duda. It's so strange. You get a pitcher out there who is striking out the world, and yet he has run 3 ball counts all day long.
Well, we said earlier that he's been up with his fastball in the zone, and it's showing tonight. He's not able to keep it down. I know he has to pitch upstairs to be effective.
Now behind Duda, dangerous hitter, 3-1, and Lucas jumps out of the way to avoid getting hit as he takes ball 4. So a tough call here for Bruce Bochy. He's got a guy who is supposed to be one of his aces on the mound, has struggled through the early season. He's got a 5-run lead with a chance for his first win of the year, but in order to qualify for that win, he's got to get 2 more outs.
Well, I think he's going to leave him in because he's eaten up by Davis. First 2 at bats, struck him out twice looking, as you just stated.
Posey's going to go out for a conversation. It's not like they need to buy time for Affeldt. He should be ready by now. In fact, he's just standing out there and watching. So the Mets have the bases loaded. This has not been their most comfortable situation this year. The Mets are looking for their first hit this season with the bases full. They're 0 for 10 as a team. Neuenhuis at third, Murphy at second, and Duda at first with 1 out. That's about 10 plate appearances already where Lincecum has gone to a 3-ball count. Davis 0 for 2. And he takes it wide for ball 1.
Boy, oh boy, he's struggling. Defense, you see, playing Ike to pull because he's been out in front. Yes, I would play him to pull.
One-0 from Lincecum. And he misses the outside corner with the changeup, and it's 2-0.
Well, now you got a good pitch to hit. If you're a rhythm hitter, you're more than likely going to get a fastball. Bases loaded.
Guillermo Mota up alongside Affeldt. 2-0 to Davis with the bases full, and Ike attacks and fouls back the high fastball. 2-1. But again, he was jumping out at that pitch.
He is jumping a little bit, and upstairs, having trouble upstairs with the fastball. You know, he's a classic left-hand hitter. I mean, he likes the ball down, Ike.
Five walks, 8 strikeouts for Lincecum. But thus far, just 1 run and 4 hits.
He's got on that fastball here.
2-1. Fouled away.
See, when you lunge forward, your bat drags. His weight's forward, and then you lose all your bat speed. And that's a pitch to hit, and you're not getting the barrel. You're not in today's parlance, you're not squaring it up. You're a little bit tardy. Now that was the pitch to hit. Now you allow the pitcher to make his pitch, and that's called a slump.
2-2 to Ike with the bases full and 1 out. And Davis hits a ground ball toward the middle. Burris on the backhand makes the flip. Bare hand by Crawford, and they turn the double play. Remarkably done by the Giants to keep the Mets off the scoreboard. Burris the glove flip, a tough catch with the bare hand by Crawford, and they turn the 4-6-3 to get Lincecum through the bottom of the 5th. What a play.
Brandon Crawford leads off the 6th inning for the Giants as Jeremy Hefner begins his 2nd inning of work. Crawford 2 for 2, drove in a run with an opposite field double his last time up. And the rookie Hefner misses outside, a ball and a strike.
And Crawford just made a terrific play on that double play off the bat of Ike Davis on the feed from Burris. Boy, that was a terrific play to turn that 2.
Popped it up shallow left, and Baxter in under it. Well, the backhand flip was nice, but how about the catch with the bare hand?
I don't like the flip with the glove, and it makes it difficult for the shortstop Crawford, but watch off the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
That is just a terrific play.
I mean, that ball could have easily rolled off the heel of his hand, and they could have gotten nobody.
You've got, I mean, it looks pretty, and that'll be a highlight reel, but to me, it's got a little mustard on that play from Burris. Very dangerous. Nice play by that young man.
So now Gregor Blanco will bat for Tim Lincecum. So Lincecum done after an entertaining 5 innings. You look at the bottom line, 1 run allowed in those 5 innings, and you can say that's pretty good. But along the way, 5 walks and 108 pitches in those 5 innings. He did strike out 8, and Lincecum in line for his first win of the year. Guillermo Mota getting ready to pitch the 6th. And Blanco takes a strike. His coach, he said before the game today, Blanco will get a start in the 2nd game today.
Very erratic outing for Lincecum. But I guess the positive side is they got him in the win column if they can hang on.
Well, for where Lincecum has been this year, and he's been in the dregs, you got to consider that a step forward for him.
But he can't be totally happy with his performance.
No.
His lack of command of his fastball. But when he threw it upstairs for a strike, and I really feel that Lincecum is very effective upstairs with his fastball, particularly to left-hand hitters. And that's why he got the 8 strikeouts. He threw it by some people.
Hefner ahead 1-2 on Blanco. Totally setting up inside, and he gets it inside. Blanco fouls it off. Blanco, the former Atlanta Brave. The backdoor breaking ball misses 2-2. Jeremy Hefner spent his entire pro career in the Padres organization before this season, 5 years. Last year started at Tucson, 28 starts, went 9-7, an ERA just under 5 in a hitters league in the Pacific Coast League. And a full count to Blanco with Angel Pagan on deck. Mets did not spend money on starting pitching depth this offseason, but they did bring in Hefner to be a potential 6th, 7th, 8th starting pitcher. Ripped down the right field line by Blanco, and it goes foul. Mets, of course, have 2 of their best prospects starting at Buffalo in Matt Harvey and Jeurys Familia.
Just recently saw some highlights on SNY of Harvey's last start, and it was impressive.
Here's ball 4, and Blanco's on with a walk. So 1 out and 1 on. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin has a New York State Smokers Quit Line game break.
Oh.
The 1 run he gave up was a home run to Bryce Harper, but he also struck Harper out twice.
You see the slider?
Yeah,
Familia?
It was nasty.
The 3 nasty sliders. If he can do that, he's going to win.
Here's Angel Pagan, who takes inside, and the jury is still out on Familia as to whether he's going to be a starter or a late inning reliever. There are some in the organization who feel with the ability of Harvey and Zach Wheeler, who's pitching at Binghamton, that maybe Familia might be better served as a closer. Remains to be seen. Pagan is 0 for 3 today. Runner goes, and it's fouled off. Blanco had a huge jump, but Pagan offering at the pitch and fouling it away. But with Harvey and Familia in AAA, not quite ready yet. The Mets are not going to rush them under any circumstances. Guys like Hefner and Chris Schwindon provide the starting pitching depth for instances like today. Of course, the Mets opted to start Batista and bring Hefner in out of the bullpen. Pulled on the ground, a base hit for Pagan. Around second, Blanco, but he'll stop there as Duda gets to it quickly. So the Giants have 2 men on with 1 out. 9 hits now for San Francisco. So here's Melky Cabrera, who's walked twice, stolen a base, scored a run, otherwise 0 for 1. And that was a concerted decision by the Mets in the offseason. They had limited resources to spend, and they opted to spend money on their bullpen, as opposed to spending it on starting pitching depth. Two on and 1 out. Cabrera, switch hitter, takes on the inside corner.
I think the decision now, in hindsight, was correct, because we didn't know anything about how Santana was going to come back. That was a big question mark. And by the way, Pelfrey continues to impress on the mound. I mean, I watched him pitch, and that moving over the other side of the mound and that change of the motion, he's throwing hard, and he pitches like that, Mike's going to win.
3 real good starts already to begin the year.
I'm not jumping on a bandwagon. Sometimes you can go out there and have lousy stuff and win. You hit him where the gloves are. I'm looking with a very critical eye at his stuff, and I'm sure Ronnie was too. It's impressive. He's throwing a heavy, hard sinker. He's throwing hard, and I just like what I see.
Hefner had 0-2, looking for his first big league strikeout. And the curveball bounced slowly. Davis comes in, and he'll take it himself as he and Hefner failed to communicate. That's the second out, and the runners move to second and third.
Well, Ike wanted to shovel here. Now, whenever you can keep a pitcher out of the play, keep him out of the play.
It's fine as long as you don't step on him.
Right. Excuse me. So it's always it's another step. It's a play where you got to shovel the pass to, the pitcher can drop it. If you can get to the bag and make the play as a first baseman, you make the play and call off the pitcher.
So now 2 in scoring position for Pablo Sandoval, who's 1 for 3, drove in a run with a first inning single. Tolley and Hefner talking things over. You've got first base open, but of course you've got the very dangerous Buster Posey waiting on deck. But with Sandoval, it's not like you have to throw strikes. You can get him to chase just about anything.
Well, these are always the big 2-out RBIs. You can break a game wide open. Just lick your chops when you get up there in this situation.
And he chases that first pitch curveball and fouls it off.
You get a base hit here or a double in particular, the ball game's over. You just pretty much light the candles or put the cherry on top, unless of course you've got the Red Sox bullpen.
They stripped off the cherry.
Man, boy, what a mess there.
Blew out the candles. Ball and a strike to Sandoval.
Did you see the bullpen's ERA? It's over 8.
Well, they gave up 15 runs.
Oh man, what a mess.
9-0 lead.
Oh.
You notice they haven't won since Bobby's Euclid comments. 5 straight losses now. That curveball bends in for a strike. A nice one from Hefner, and it's 1-2.
Well, there you have it.
They have been 4-10 on merit.
That's 7 runs a game, and that's just earned runs.
26 home runs allowed in 14 games. Here's the 1-2. Fouled off.
See Tolley with the glove up there with 2 strikes. Mets have been going after Sandoval upstairs. He can't lay off this one.
He can't lay off anything.
No, you can go up the ladder on him with 2 strikes. He can hit, this young man.
Yes, he can. Hitting at .333 from each side of the plate. 1-2 from Hefner. And that's well out. Even Sandoval couldn't chase that. Two in scoring position for Sandoval with 2 out.
Curveball down.
Sandoval didn't get it down.
He hung it, but got it away enough. And that wasn't a strike. And if he takes that pitch and makes it 3-2 with the bases loaded, makes it a little more dicey for the pitcher. He's still got another pitch he can miss and not walk in a run.
Buster Posey would be next. After trying to put this inning to bed right here against Sandoval. Again, the 2-2. Line to center. Neuenhuis is right there. Side retired. So Hefner tiptoes through his second big league inning and keeps the Giants off the board. It's still 6-1. Getting off work time in the city. Well into the first game of the doubleheader here out in Queens. Former Met Guillermo Mota will pitch the bottom of the 6th inning for San Francisco. Mota worked in the opening game of the series, and despite that bloated ERA, looked very good. 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. Giants double switch. Gregor Blanco, who pinch hit, stays in the game in left field, so Mota will hit in the number 2 spot with Cabrera coming out, which means that Bruce Bochy has had to run through a lot of bullpen in this series. He used 7 pitchers on Friday and 5 on Saturday. Wants to get 2 innings out of Mota. Don't forget, right after this one, game 2 of the doubleheader, about 25 minutes after the close of game 1. It'll be Dylan G going for the Mets in game 2, and the 22-year-old lefty Madison Bumgarner pitching for San Francisco. Josh Tolley leads off in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mets had plenty of chances against Tim Lincecum. They left 7 on base in the first 5 innings. Lincecum going 5 innings, allowing 1 run, 4 hits, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. Tolley is 0 for 2. He's flied to left and struck out. And Mota ready to get things started. Throws a fastball for a strike. Mota now 38 years old. And his stint with the Mets, the latter stages of 06 and then into 07 with a drug suspension in between. Popped up in foul ground. Sandoval should have room. Tolley retired, 1 away. So a rare rough day at the plate for Josh, who has been swinging so well.
Been a little out in front. been kind of reaching, been fooled by the off-speed pitches.
Remember, he struck out on a pitch off the plate in his previous at bat. That's rare for Josh. Now Ruben Tejada, who's had another good offensive day. Walked, stole the base, scored a run in the second, then he singled to left center in the fourth. One of only 4 hits the Mets garnered against Lincecum. Giants got just 5 innings from their starter Barry Zito in the first game of the series. They got 7 from Ryan Vogelsong on Saturday, but then their bullpen struggled. Didn't get helped out by the defense, and the Mets were able to rally and win at the bottom of the ninth. You know, they can look up just about anything these days, and it turned out that the game the Mets won on Saturday on the Buster Posey throwing error was the first game the Mets have ever won that ended on an E2
In their history.
ever.
Really?
Well, think about it. As Bobby Parnell gets up in the Mets bullpen, how do catchers usually get errors? Usually by throwing to second base on a stolen base. Well, that wouldn't usually end a game. There's a strike. In this case, it was a throw to first base. Of course, it would be different if the game ended on a pass ball.
Correct, but that's not an error.
It's not an error.
It is an unearned run.
It's an unearned run, but it's not an error. Here's the 3-1, and Tejada hits it out to center field, chasing Pagan back. And Angel is there to put it away. So 2 out. So Mota, who pitched a 1-2-3 inning on Friday, gets his first 2 batters this afternoon. And now Mike Baxter has driven in the only Met run in this game. He doubled down the right field line against Lincecum to get Tejada home in the second. So Baxter in his first starting assignment of the year is 1 for 2. Jason Bay has come out on deck. He'll pinch hit for the Mets if Baxter can keep the inning going. Mets do not have a left-handed bat on their bench.
Just literally took the words out of my mouth. We have a complete right-handed bench today for the Mets. First game here in the doubleheader.
And the Mets only have a 4-man bench. Just look at Bay on deck because they put Ronnie Cedeno on the disabled list before the game. And activated Jeremy Hefner, who's now given the Mets 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. And I would have to think that if Baxter makes the last out, that Terry would send Hefner out for another inning.
Why not?
He's a starting pitcher, and he's right on his day. He last pitched 5 days ago on a win over Lehigh Valley for Buffalo. Two balls and a strike to Baxter.
Well, I remember Mota when he came up with the Dodgers. Was the Dodgers, right? He was a skinny, tall, skinny kid.
Remember, he was a shortstop in the Mets organization before he ever got close to the major league. Then he got too big to be a shortstop.
Got big with a little help.
And when he came back after his drug suspension, he had an awful 2007 before the Mets let him go. 3-2 now to Baxter. Mets have worked more than their share of full counts today. It hasn't really paid off for them. They've drawn 5 walks, but they only have 1 run. Now it's 3-2 to Baxter, and it's fouled off.
Well, it's 6-1 ball game. 2 outs in the 6th. Nobody on. 3-2 count. If you walk this guy with a secondary pitch, you're out of your mind. Here's a fastball. And Mota still throws hard.
And he gets Baxter to end the inning. So the Mets are out 1-2-3 before Mota. That's 9 strikeouts for Giants pitching. On to the 7th. 6-1 Giants. Third inning of work for Jeremy Hefner in his major league debut. Buster Posey leads off. Posey was the first man Hefner faced when he came in the fifth. Got him to ground out to short. Posey had a home run against Miguel Batista back in the first. Batista went 3 2/3, allowed 6 runs, 3 of them earned on 7 hits. Manny Acosta retired his only batter, and now Hefner going after it for a third time. And a call strike to Posey, 0-2. 26-year-old out of Oral Roberts University has had to pitch with runners in scoring position in each of his first 2 innings and handled it. 0-2 to Posey, and the curveball bounced over third. Long throw to make for David Wright. He loads up and he got him. 1 out. Well, our Toyota tweet of the day was to ask you what you thought about the Mets having a pregame scoreboard tribute to Jose Reyes tomorrow night. So let's see what you said. At the Melton says Reyes is a great memory, but too soon to offer a tribute, especially after going to a rival. At Storm Surge, the right thing to do. Can't blame him for not being here anymore. Are we going to have more?
Can we have more?
Is that our full selection?
Very curious to see what the Mets.
I think it's very interesting. You know, personally, I think it's absolutely the right thing to do. It's not like they're giving him a day.
No, I agree.
They're not giving him a car. They're just having a brief video tribute. Out to center field off the bat of Scherholz. Nieuwenhuis got turned around, and that ball's at the base of the wall and gets stuck. That'll enable Scherholz to turn second and go on to third. Slides in with a triple. So Scherholz has his 3rd hit of the day and his 2nd triple of the season.
He's been the hitting star of the Giants here. Sinker ball. Oh, it might have been a changeup. A good spot. He just stayed back, and now it's a fastball. He ripped it.
And if the ball comes cleanly off the wall, Scherholz probably has to stop at second, but because it got wedged, he was able to go to third. And the Mets will bring the infield in for Brandon Belt, who doubled down the right field line his last time up, 1 for 3, and he takes the curveball high. But I guess going back to Reyes, I mean, the Mets have done this with virtually every ex-star that's come back. They did it with Piazza, they did it with Alfonso. They even did it with Todd Pratt. So, you know, I think the precedent has been set, and I can't see a reason in the world for not doing it.
I agree. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
And if history is any guide, Reyes will get a big ovation when he is first introduced. And then as the game goes along, especially if he does anything good, he'll start getting booed, just like every other enemy player. That's the way it's always been. 2-1 to Bell. Some might argue that because Reyes left as a free agent, that it might change the thought process. But frankly, in this particular circumstance, why? Three-1 to Belt.
So really, with Jose gone, we said it before. The last man standing is David Wright from that 2016.
Yep. David arrived in 2004, a year after Reyes did. Three and 2 to Belt. Hefner needing a strikeout. Gets the ground ball down to Davis. The runner will hold. And so that's the 2nd out. Nice job by Hefner to pin Scherholz at third. Now they're 2 away.
Yet another in this entire series, the inability to get a runner in from third, less than 2 outs.
So now Emmanuel Burris, who's 1 for 3, singled in the 4th and scored a run. He's made 2 spectacular defensive plays as well, when the Mets were threatening against Lincecum. And it's pulled on the ground. Murphy slides over to get it, and so Jeremy Hefner turns in 3 scoreless innings in his major league debut. Nice job for Hefner. 7th inning stretch, 6-1 Giants. doubleheader. Dylan G, who's looked very sharp in the early going, goes for his second win, and the lefty Madison Bumgarner, newly rewarded with a 5-year contract, will go to the mound for the Giants. Bumgarner will be facing the Mets for the first time. Meanwhile, Jeremy Hefner, unheralded, walked in here today not knowing if he'd be placed on the roster. He was, and now he's turned in 3 scoreless innings in his big league debut. Justin Turner will bat for him to lead off in the bottom of the 7th. Turner is due to get a start in game 2 of the doubleheader against the lefty Bumgarner, whether that's at first for Ike Davis or at second for Daniel Murphy, who started every game this year, remains to be seen. Right now, the way Murph is swinging the bat and the way Davis is swinging the bat,
I can't take Murph out of the lineup.
I would agree. Outside of Turner, 1-0. Meanwhile, Ike Davis just has had trouble getting out of his own way through the early portion of this year. He has 3 home runs, but now 8 for 57 to begin the year. Turner fouls it off. Well, Justin wound up with another hit with a runner in scoring position on Saturday. You'll remember 2 men on in the 9th. He hit the ground ball to short that should have been a game-ending double play, but Aubrey Huff, playing second base for the first time in his life, didn't cover, and Turner wound up with an infield hit.
But still, you watch baseball, and all defense. I mean, Huff said, I'm used to going to first base, but come on.
Line the other way, and Turner has a base hit.
Oh, boy.
Scherholtz playing it on the hop, dangerously so.
Whoa. 5-run lead. That thing could have got by, and that's not an easy play.
So a leadoff hit for Turner. Only the Mets' 5th hit of the game.
So, my point on Huff is, okay, but we've all grew up watching baseball. I'm a first baseman. I just didn't watch first baseman. I watched the whole game, every position. Bobby Richardson happened to be a big fan of his. Used to like to watch him play second base. If I'm on second base, I know in a ground ball, I got to cover second.
Here's the thing. They're never asking you to play second.
Because I'm left-handed.
You're left-handed. 3 positions you're not allowed to play.
Confound it.
And some people say you shouldn't never be able to catch, although there have been some left-handed catchers. Mike Squires, Dale Long, Benny DiStefano.
And the reason for that is difficult throwing a runner out to third base with a right-hand hitter, predominantly right-hand hitters. And also, I don't know. I don't get it.
I think it's more traditional than anything else. I think it's because there are more right-hand hitters as much throwing to second as throwing to third. Just more stuff in your way as a left-hand thrower.
Right.
But you guys can play first in the outfield. You can pitch.
We're limited. It's not fair.
It was an accident of birth.
Well, my dad told me that if I had been right-handed, he would have made me into a shortstop. Because he said that back in those days, when I was growing up playing Little League, it was late 50s there, and the quickest way to the big leagues was shortstop and catcher.
But just think if you'd become a pitcher, you might have played forever. Lefty. Say if you're left-handed, you can breathe. There's a job for you.
After every game I pitched in high school, I couldn't throw the ball the next day. My elbow hurt so bad.
Really?
Yeah. My elbow. I probably just had poor mechanics. I could throw it through a brick wall, but I couldn't throw the next day. Then the second day, I could throw it maybe 25 feet. Each day, I'd stretch it out further. Those are the days you played 2 games a week.
Now I know you played a few games in the outfield in the big leagues. Did you ever play outfield as a kid?
Oh yeah, I certainly did. Played center field, but that was because my brother played first for two teams in Little League. My brother was on the team, so I had to play the outfield.
Could you cover some ground in center field?
I was quick. You wouldn't think it, but I was quick. I was always the first one to the ice cream stand.
I have no doubt. You're the first to all the snacks now. When Ice takes outside at 3-2. Well, you had 7 putouts in your major league career in the outfield and 17,909 at first base.
And I loved playing. I played right field and left field.
But never center field in the major.
No, I couldn't play center field in Busch Stadium.
Yeah, that AstroTurf. Neuenhuis slugs one out to left. Blanco going back, but it's over his head and one hop against the wall. Turner to third. He'll be held up there by Tim Tuffle. It's a double for Kirk Neuenhuis, and the Mets have second and third and nobody out. So Neuenhuis has his third double of the year.
Well, I tell you what, sometimes he stays level on this high pitch, and sometimes he doesn't do it all the time, but when he does, hit the home run earlier in this homestand over into left center field, and this ball shows some good opposite field power.
You don't see a lot of left-handers take that swing.
Yep.
That's something that you used to do, but you don't see much of that. Infield back with nobody out. Giants with a 5-run lead. Daniel Murphy's 2 for 3. An infield single. And then he hit a hard one to center his last time up. And Mota, who got the side out 1, 2, 3 in the 6th, struggling here in the 7th. Jeremy Affeldt back to work. You got David Wright on deck, then 3 left-hand hitters in a row, and Duda, Davis, and Tolley.
Need a base hit.
And Mota with the changeup falls behind 2-0.
He's missed with 2 of them. With David Wright in the on-deck circle, that's going to get Dave Righetti to come out and have a chat. But you've missed with 2 changeups. And I don't care about the open base. It's all about the guy in the on-deck circle, David Wright.
You got a 5-run lead. I don't think you should be worrying about your base runs.
So the point is, this is a good pitch to hit.
Let's take a look at the Verizon Mets box score. Daniel Murphy, the only Met with 2 hits. Mike Baxter has driven in the only run, but the Mets have left 7 runners on base, and they've got 2 in scoring position with nobody out here in the 7th. You know, I give a lot of credit to our guys in the truck. They have not misspelled Neuenhuis once since he came up.
Whose job is that? Is that Schulte?
Schulte.
Well, let me tell you something. It's a long year. Keep your eye on Schulte.
Here's the 2-0 to Murphy. Swing and a miss. He threw him another off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1.
And you know what? That's okay. You want to throw me a 2-0 changeup? Fine. It's still 2-1.
Mets are just 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position today, hitting .225 as a team this year. Oh, fastball from Mota, and it's 2-2.
That's rare. Murph got that one thrown by him. Very rarely do you see Murph get beat on a fastball.
After 3 straight changeups.
He's tardy.
Gets you a demerit. Tardy. Now the 2-2 from Mota, and Murphy pops one foul. Sandoval over for a look, but that's going to be in the crowd.
That's a good pitch right there from Mota coming inside. But he's got to be careful when he comes inside. See, he watches the ball bleed out over the plate a little bit. He's really got to make sure he gets it in there.
Murphy hitting .353 with runners in scoring position this year on 6 for 17. Base hit could plate 2. Popped it up. Crawford out. Blanco in. Blanco calling. And the runners will have to hold. That's the first out of the inning.
That's a big out right there.
So Murphy is retired. Mota will get 1 more batter. David Wright coming up, and then the 3 lefties, and they've got Affeldt ready in the bullpen for them.
And I would not let Mota pitch to Duda, that's for sure, even if he gets right out. He's got that little sinker in a sinking change, pitches down in the strike zone. It kind of throws into Duda's strength.
Mota has done very well against Wright in their prior meetings. David's just 1 for 12 against him. He's 0 for 2 in a walk today, lined out to left field his last time up. And he takes the fastball for a strike. Needing just 1 RBI to become the Mets all-time leader by himself. And then Straw can give him another call. Ball and a strike. Now the 1-1 to right. Swing and a miss. High fastball from Mota, 1-2.
Beat him badly. Big uppercut from David, I'm seeing again.
He struck him out. So Mota fans right after getting Murphy on the short fly ball, and now has a chance to get out of the inning unscathed. Let's see if he gets a chance to.
There he comes with the changeup after beating him with the fastball upstairs out of the strike zone. He's going to leave him in.
Well, with a 5-run lead, that's a luxury Bruce Bochy has here, to roll with Mota and save Affeldt. Duda has walked twice today. Oh. And now Bochy decides he wants to make a change, and he's going to make a double switch.
I totally agree with him.
So Brett Pill will come in to play first base, and Affeldt will come in to pitch to Duda. Double switch for the Giants in the 7th. San Francisco up 6-1. We'll be right back. Jose Reyes and the Marlins begins tomorrow night at 7:10 p.m. Visit Mets.com or call 718-507-TIXX for your tickets now. Brett Pill comes in to play first base. He'll go in the 2 spot in the batting order where the pitcher had been. And Jeremy Affeldt goes in the 6th spot.
Well, the veteran reliever, I think, has still got a lot left in his tank. I've liked his stuff he's thrown this year, in this series, I should say. Came up with Kansas City. There's Parnell up in the bullpen for the Metsies. Kansas City, Colorado, Cincinnati, San Francisco. Those have been his stops along the way, but he's still a very serviceable left-hander.
Mets at 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. Now 2 out in the inning, and the runners have not moved. Lucas Duda, the batter, and he takes a fastball inside for ball 1. Duda has walked twice and struck out 0 for 1. Turner led off the inning with a single. Neuenhuis doubled. But Murphy with a short fly ball and Wright struck out against Mota, who goes an inning and 2/3, allowed 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts, and responsible for the 2 men on base. And the curveball to Duda misses inside, 2-0. Affeldt just keeps getting better and better as his career goes along. He's part of that great Colorado run a few years ago when they won 21 of their last 22. Mainstay in that bullpen. And now he's behind on Duda, 3-0. base hit here, even a soft one, changes the nature of this game.
A walk would be a sin.
Depends who's doing the sinning.
Well, that's a little strong. Sorry.
It's 3-1 now to Duda. It's not like a mortal sin.
Or one of the 7 deadlies.
Fourteen 3-ball counts for the Mets today. They've drawn 5 walks. But they have just 6 hits. Here's the pitch, and it misses, ball 4. So the Mets have the bases loaded with Ike Davis coming up. So Bruce Bochy goes to his lefty, and his lefty promptly walks a left-hand batter. Well, second straight at bat for Ike with the bases full. He came up with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th. Got ahead of Lincecum 2-0. Lincecum then got back to 2-2. Davis hit one toward the middle, and then Burris made a nice backhand stop to begin a spectacular double play to get Lincecum through that 5th. Now another chance for Davis with the bases full. First pitch swinging, grounds one right at Burris this time, and that'll do it for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. So the Mets have now left 10 runners on base over the first 7. Another rough day at the plate for Ike Davis. On to the 8th. Recently, SNY and City helped the Asbury Park Little League turn their sandlot into a field of dreams with the SNY Play Ball Award. Now it's your turn. Help your youth baseball or softball league with a $5,000 grant. Apply for the SNY Play Ball Award presented by City today at sny.tv/playball. Justin Turner stays in the game at second base, and Bobby Parnell will pitch and hit number 2 in the order as Murphy comes out.
Well, Parnell, the ERA, not too concerned about it. I like the way he's thrown the first 5 games of the season.
Last outing was 5 days ago in Atlanta. He gave up run-scoring hits to Chipper Jones and Michael Bourne. Brandon Crawford leads off the 8th for the Giants and takes a fastball for a strike. Crawford's had a big day, 2 for 3 at the plate, a single, a double, and RBI, and a great turn of a double play to turn down a Met threat in the 5th inning. Pulled on the ground, and Turner gets an initial chance. 1 away. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin is there with the New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Going to be very excited to see Bumgarner. First time he's faced the Mets. This is one of the fine young up and coming pitching talents in the National League. Gregor Blanco up for the second time, walked as a pinch hitter in the 6th, stayed in the game in left field. And Blanco takes low for ball 1. Mets got only 3 2/3 out of their starter today, Miguel Batista. He gave up all 6 Giant runs, 3 of them earned, but that's offset by the relief outing by Jeremy Hefner at the other end of his career from Batista. Hefner in his big league debut, 3 scoreless innings, 3 hits, a walk, and something to be very proud of in his major league debut. Batista's prior start at Citi Field was a gem. Last start of 2011, not so much today. Here's the curveball from Parnell, and he just missed with it. 2-1. So Parnell, the 4th Met pitcher of the afternoon. Angel Pagan waiting on deck. 2-1 to Blanco, and it's in tight. 3-1. Well, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast that today is an anniversary in Mets history, 50 years to the day since the Mets got their first win. It is also 60 years to the day, a rather more subtle event in Giants history. April 23rd, 1952, the knuckleballer Hoyt Wilhelm got his first big league at bat for the Giants, and he hit a home run. 2 days later, Hoyt Wilhelm got his second big league at bat, and he hit a triple. Hoyt Wilhelm would then play 21 more years in the major leagues, never hit another home run, and never hit another triple.
Did he get another hit?
Don't know. He threw a no-hitter. Did that against the Yankees in '58, I think, for the Orioles.
He was the all-time games appeared in for a long time, and was it Jesse that took him over?
Kent DeColvey first, right?
Oh, that's right, DeColvey.
Inside ball 4, and Blanco's on with a walk for the second time. So 1 out and 1 out. But think about that. Your first big league at bat, you hit a home run. The second big league at bat, you hit a triple, and then you never do either one again in 21 years.
Well, for a pitcher, though.
Right, and he was a relief pitcher for most of his career. That no-hitter that he threw was a rare start for him. Dave will look it up, but I think he only started maybe 40 games in his career, something like that, out of the 900 something that he pitched in. Ramon Ramirez up next in the Mets bullpen. And when Jamie Moyer set the record last week for oldest pitcher to win a game, Wilhelm was up there in the top 5. There's a call strike to Pagan. Dave tells me that Wade had 38 hits total in 432 at bats, so he was under 100. But he had a home run and a triple.
How many starts did he have in his career, Dave?
Pagan laid on the fastball, and it's 0-2. Angel 1 for 4 today, 4 hits and 14 at bats in this series, including a home run on Friday night in his first game back at Citi Field.
I like that old White Sox uniform where they had the extra large numbers on their shoulder, wasn't it? They had the extra large numbers. He had 52 starts, Hoyt,
in 1,070 games. I remember Jim Bowden wrote in ball 4, he said, why would you use a knuckleballer as a relief pitcher? You don't want him to come in with men on base,
particularly with a runner on third.
Right. Of course, Bowden was just lobbying for himself because he wanted to start after he became a knuckleball pitcher. Check swing, and did Pagan go? He did not. Doug Eddings with the call down at third, 1-2. Did you ever read ball 4 when it came
Yes,
out?
I did. I loved it.
Wasn't it the greatest?
I just thought it was a terrific book. There were some really racy things in there, and it was ahead of its time, but it was a terrific book. What I loved most was his reminiscence of Joe Schultz, who was then the manager of the Seattle Pilots, the expansion team. Seattle went to Milwaukee to become the Brewers, right?
Right before the 1970 season. They only played 1 year in Seattle. Here's the 1-2, and Pagan takes the curveball for a call strike 3, and he knew it. So Parnell has his first strikeout, 2 out of the inning.
Backdoor slider and a good one with bite.
I was 12 years old when ball 4 came out, so the racy parts those were great.
Oh, the one about Dick Raditz. Holy cow! I was in high school. We won't go into detail.
How about Doug Rader?
Yes, but I was stunned with Dick Raditz.
Here's Brett Pill up for the first time, and he gets ahead of that fastball and yanks it foul. I always thought the Gary Bell story was funny.
I forget that.
There's all stuff we can't talk about on the air, but you know.
That was groundbreaking.
Well, there had been one prior book written that really told tales from inside. Jim Brosnan wrote The Long Season, which came out sometime in the 50s, maybe the early 60s.
Oh. Nice backhand play by Wright. Up and throwing on a couple of hops, but I can't pick it. And Pill was safe at first. Well, Wright took a double away from Pill, but he couldn't quite get the Pill over there on the fly.
Well, he also saves a run here. This is double down the corner all the way. And just too many bounces on the throw. But terrific play getting there. I love that super slow cam. Why didn't they have that when I played?
Because those were the dark ages. It's when you and Bill Webb were young. He hadn't invented the technology, and
I might have been like Narcissus looking into that pond.
You might have fallen right in. Here's Sandoval, and he grounds one down to Davis. Tough hop, but he stays with it and makes the play to end the inning. So the Giants strand a pair in the top of the 8th. Mets will come up in the bottom, trailing 6-1. Last of the 8th inning in game 1 of our doubleheader. Josh Thole leads off against Jeremy Affeldt, who came on to get the final out in the 7th. Stays on to face the left-hand hitter Thole to start the 8th. Josh 0 for 3 today, and his string of reaching base in his first 13 games of the season is in jeopardy. Fly to left, struck out, and fouled out to third. Thole, Tejada, and Baxter for the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. Mets have had their chances today, but they've left 10 runners on base. Mike Davis has had a very rough afternoon. 8 left on base in his last 3 at bats. Tim Lincecum back in the dugout. Went the first 5 today, in line for his first win of the year.
Oh,
Thole has to pull the ejector on the curveball over his head.
Didn't pull that shade down, did he?
Here's the 2-1 to Josh, and that's a strike with a fastball. 2-2. Affeldt walked the first man to face him, Duda, when he came out in the 7th. That loaded him up, but he got Ike Davis on a ground ball to get through the inning. And there's nobody throwing behind him, so it looks like he'll stand to face the right-hand hitter Tejada, who is up next. It was an odd afternoon for Lincecum. Lincecum went 5 innings. It took him 108 pitches to get there.
5 walks in 5 innings. 8 strikeouts, only in 4 hits. It was a labor for him. He had some innings that were just boom, boom, but I have to say it was an erratic performance.
Only bailing out on the curve, but he manages to foul it off.
He has not swung the bat good today.
It's always impressive, though, when your rear end goes one way and you're still able to foul it off. Ramon Ramirez getting ready to pitch in the top of the 9th. So Tolle lives for another swing, and he takes low and outside. 3-2. Josh began the day 3rd in the National League in on-base percentage at .476.
They are really playing Josh the opposite field. Look at that left fielder. And shallow.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming from Affeldt. And Tolle bangs one toward the middle of the diamond. There's Burris again, but he can't make this play. And Tolle has an infield hit. So Josh's string continues. That's 14 straight games reaching base. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple is there with a preview of what's coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night.
Gary, thanks so much. Coming up tonight, Rangers looking to stave off elimination, and the Nets playing their final game in New Jersey, and Governor Christie takes a shot at them on their way out the door. See you tonight, guys.
Well, the Nets went from playing in New Jersey as the New Jersey Americans to playing on the island as the New York Nets, and then 35 years in Jersey and the Rutgers Athletic Center, and then the Brendan Byrne Arena, which had several other names, and finally to the Prudential Center.
Pretty good forward played over there in New Jersey, too. Rick Barry?
Well, he was on the island.
Oh, was on the island.
Yeah. So was Julius Erving. Bernard King played for the Nets in Jersey when they were at the rack. In the air to center field off the bat of Tejada. And Pagan moves over. 1 away.
When Rick Barry left the Bay Area, left the San Francisco Warriors to go to the ABA, I was just crushed. He was such a great player.
Here's Mike Baxter. I used to copy Rick Barry's free throw shooting in high school.
The underhand?
I shot underhand. Well, he shot 90%. He made you wonder why more people
well over
didn't try
90%.
it.
He was one of the best free throw shooters in the game.
Made you wonder why other people didn't try it. Kind of like wondering why people didn't choke up on their bat when Barry Bonds was doing it.
Rick Barry was also a great defender, as Clay Hensley, and I have no explanation why Brendan Pill is playing. He's not playing behind the runner at first.
Knocked down by Posey. No chance for Tolle to advance.
Brett Pill, excuse me. He should be playing behind Tolle. There's no reason for him to be holding him on.
Well, he's not exactly holding him on there
But
anyway.
Get back. Get behind him. Move back. Cover more ground. Left-hand hitter up.
1-1 to Baxter, who has the only RBI for the Mets today. According to Dave Freed, Barry's lifetime free throw percentage, which is 3rd all time, is .8998, which is officially 90%.
Okay. I stand corrected.
Now my question is, who are the first two? Mark Price is number 1. Steve Nash number 2. 2-2 now to Baxter. So among forwards, Barry was number 1.
So we had Rick Barry, had Wilt Chamberlain. I remember Wilt Chamberlain couldn't shoot a free throw. I remember him taking free throws from the top of the key.
He tried underhand at one point. Wilt did.
Yes, he did.
Didn't work.
And I'm being very dated by saying top of the key.
No, you're not.
Does that still works?
It's still there.
Okay.
We just moved back away from the free throw.
I could never understand why Wilt moved like back to the top of the key to shoot a free throw. I couldn't figure it out.
Well, remember Hal Greer used to take jump shots from the line. Baxter takes a call, third strike, and that's the second out of the inning. Third time Baxter's been struck out today.
Right in the black, knee high.
Hal Greer was a great player.
He played with Chamberlain in Philadelphia, didn't
Yes, he did. Lucius Jackson.
Well, that 66-67 team that won the championship, that was an extraordinary team. Here's Justin Turner, who singled to right and is only at bat in the seventh, stayed in at second base. Mets and Giants will play another game right after this one. Go in, have a bite, change the uniform shirt, and come right back out for game two. And are you sticking around for the second game?
No, Gary, I'd love to, but I'm older than you guys. I need my rest.
So you'll be driving home while the game's going on?
I will be listening on the radio to Josh and Howie.
Josh Lewin and Howie Rose on WFAN. You'll be in their clutches all the way from here to exit whatever. You're
I
like
get off on exit
60s,
70. I get off.
7.
But actually, I'm going out to the North Fork tonight. I've got to go to Janesport.
There's a curveball for a strike. 1-2 to Turner.
I'll eventually make it home before midnight.
Sure.
No, serious. There they are.
Howie talking on your right. Josh listening on your left.
Who are the other two characters?
Well, that's Chris Majkowski at the top and John Schweibacher peeking from his little bunker.
John? What does John do?
People have been asking that for 20 years. I don't think there's ever been a legitimate answer. But he keeps showing up. And you know what Woody Allen says? And he probably said it about John Schweibacher. 90% of life is just showing up. Didn't Schweibacher look startled when we put him on camera there?
Yes.
It's like the groundhog coming out of his hole. Turner down swinging. That'll end the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts for Affeldt. We head for the ninth in game one of the doubleheader. Ramon Ramirez coming in, 6-1 Giants. To you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Ramon Ramirez will come on to pitch the 9th inning for New York.
A lot of hits given up in innings pitched and walks, and he's off to a little sluggish start. This was the big guy in the trade here for the Pagan trade that Sandy Alderson wanted to strengthen that bullpen, and he's had too many good years. He'll right the ship.
Buster Posey leads off the top of the 9th, homered back in the 1st inning. It'll be Posey, then Nate Scherholtz, who's out on deck and has a chance for the cycle today. Scherholtz with a single, triple, and home run. Needs a double for the cycle. Here he is. Giants have had 25 cycles in their history. They had one last year, Pablo Sandoval, in Colorado. In fact, their last 2 cycles have come at Coors Field. Their previous one in 07, Fred Lewis had a cycle against the Rockies. Some of your heroes of your youth on the list, including Jim Ray Hart, back in 1970, had a cycle for the Giants.
I just was noticing in the on-deck circle, Scherholtz wearing number 12. That number was always worn by Jimmy Davenport, the third baseman for the Giants when I was a kid growing up.
Here's the 1-2 to Posey, and it's foul back. I was looking at the list of cycles for the Giants. We talked about Bill Terry earlier. He had one, 1928. Mel Ott in 29. Freddie Lindstrom in 1930. Swing and a miss, and Posey is down on strikes. So Ramirez fans the first man to face him. Let's check with the studio, see what's coming up on WB Mason Postgame Live. Chris Carlin and Bobby Ojeda, guys. How about Bobby O giving you a shout out there?
Well,
so here's Scherholtz, who needs a double for the cycle. Blooped a single to left in the 1st, cracked a 3-run homer in the 3rd, and then hit one to the base of the center field fence for a triple in the 7th. Ramirez made him look bad there, 1-1.
interesting that I've seen from Ramirez. He loves to throw from hitters from both sides of the plate. He loves to predominantly stay away. He got Posey, he pounded Posey in hard 3 straight times, and then got him to go after a bad breaking pitch away. Established in. It's one of the first. I feel that he needs to pitch maybe a little more inside, but he prefers to live on that outside edge.
Now he's ahead on Scherholtz 1-2. And it's low and away. Do you know that the Mets in 50 years have only given up 3 cycles?
I can believe that.
Wes Parker in 1970, Ray Lankford in 91, and Vladimir Guerrero in Montreal in 2003 was the last. 2-2. Hit up the middle, and there's Tejada behind the bag. So Scherholtz will have to wait for another day to cycle. 2 out and nobody on. You know, the Mets are famous for not having ever thrown a no-hitter. And the only other franchise that hasn't thrown a no-hitter is the San Diego Padres. But the Padres also have never had a cycle. No no-hitters.
Tony Gwynn?
And no cycles.
And Dave Winfield.
None of them.
Well, Preston Gomez. Didn't Preston Gomez pull someone?
Clay Kirby.
With a no-no, right?
Yep. This is Ryan Theriot batting for the pitcher, hitting the 6th hole. First appearance of the series for Theriot, who's been very ill with the flu and didn't even fly to New York until yesterday. But finally available in this series for the first time. Theriot, the former Cardinal, former Cub. And Ramirez quickly in front of him, 0-2. Dan Otero getting ready in the Giants bullpen, a rookie right-hander. Here's the 0-2, and it's up high. Mets will have the top of the batting order coming up in the 9th. That's Neuenhuis, the pitcher's spot at right. Mets have been down in this game from the get-go. Giants scored 2 in the 1st. It's been 6-1 since the 4th. 1-2 from Ramirez, and it's in there for a call strike 3. Terrio down looking, so a good inning for Ramirez. He strikes out a pair. Mets with their last licks in game 1 when we come back. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Lexus. By Verizon Fios. Welcome to America's fastest, most consistent, most reliable internet. Welcome to Life on Fios. By Partners Executive Transportation, driving you around the world. And by Topps. Look for the golden giveaway code cards in packs of Topps baseball cards. Then visit Topps.com/golden to unlock cards and win prizes. Dan Otero trying to close out the first game for the Giants.
Well, there's Otero's number, a rookie, 5 years in the minor leagues with the Giants system.
Kirk Neuenhuis, first man up for the Mets in the last of the ninth. Neuenhuis, another good game at the plate. 1 for 3 and a walk, an opposite field double that got the Mets in position to score in the 7th. They had second and third and nobody out, but never got one home. And a bullet up the middle, and Neuenhuis has another hit. So on the day when Andres Torres begins his rehab stint down in Port St. Lucie, Neuenhuis 2 for 4 and a walk. And now Jason Bay will bat for the pitcher.
Very difficult for the Mets to send this young man back down.
Well, they still probably have a couple of weeks to decide. I can't believe that Torres is going to come back that quickly from that calf injury that he hurt first in spring training and then again on opening day. So here is Bay, who has a 7-game hitting streak going that will be on the line in this pinch hitting appearance. Jason on Saturday went 1 for 4 and had the strange sensation of having 3 outs made while he was at the plate in the 8th inning on Saturday. Remember, Davis got picked off first, Wright got caught stealing third, and then finally Jason grounded out.
Comedy of errors.
Well, you weren't here Saturday, but trust me, that's exactly what it was. It was crazy, especially those last 2 innings. And Bay takes a fastball for a strike from Otero, 1-1. Jason will be in the lineup in game 2 of the doubleheader against the left-hander Madison Bumgarner. Dylan G will pitch for New York in game 2. And Bay takes a strike. 1-2. Otero trying to finish it off for Tim Lincecum, who went the first 5 today. It would be Lincecum's first win of the year, and he wasn't great, but he was good enough. And Bay grounds one toward third. Sandoval to second for 1. Burris's relay not in time. So the 5-4 sacrifice erases Neuenhuis for the first out of the inning.
Well, the ball hit crisply. A little snow cone, a little tough at the exchange, and then Burris had a hard time turning it.
So 1 out and 1 on. And here's David Wright, who's 0 for 3 and a walk. Flied out, lined out, and struck out. Giants keeping the bullpen busy behind Otero just in case he gets in trouble. The left-hander Javier Lopez and the right-hander Santiago Casilla, who's taken over the closing duties, at least most of them, with Brian Wilson out for the year, Tommy John surgery. And a fastball strike, and Wright finds himself in a 2-strike hole. David just 1 for 10 in this series after tearing it up to that point. Giants have gotten opportunistic bullpen work today. An inning and 2/3 from Mota, an inning and a third from Affeldt. They both found trouble. They both got out of it. Now Otero trying to put on the finishing touches in the 9th. Here's the 1-2 to Wright. Strike 3 called. David caught looking. Second time he's been struck out today, and he did not like Paul Nart's call. 2 out.
He might have a gripe. You can see him pull the glove back in. If you're Ted Williams, that's ball.
Ted's not here.
No.
So now Duda, who's walked 3 times in a row after striking out his first time up, and he takes a strike. Mets are down to their final out here in game 1. Bay at first with 2 down. Duda trying to keep it going. Ball and a strike. Ike Davis would be next. Mets have left 11 runners on base over the first 8 innings today. They have 8 hits. They've drawn 6 walks. Pulled down to first. Pill has it. And that'll do it for game 1 of the doubleheader. The Giants win it. A couple of early home runs by Posey and Scherholtz. Lincecum does just enough to get his first win as the Mets take it on the chin in game 1 of the doubleheader, 6-1.
Well, the Mets really just weren't in this ball game. A very erratic performance from Tim Lincecum, but he went 5 innings, got his first win. The Mets left 12 men on base, got 8 hits, were out hit Giants with 11.
So the Giants take game 1 of the doubleheader. They've taken 2 of 3 in the series. Second game to come, and we'll be right back to City.